You're listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Hey, remember us? Of course you do. We've been here for 102 episodes, for crying out loud. We are a lot of things. Long-winded? Yes. Disgusting? Check. Stupid? Guilty. Random? Abso-flingle. Vulgar? You bet your ripened asshole. But forgettable?
Oh.
I think that might be the one thing we aren't. Also professional, polished, skillful, accomplished, smart, impressive, wondrous, and any other word that's synonymous with any of those. Well, we're here today at the beginning of December to bring you all the holiday tidings you never thought you needed, like Jingle Balls and Santa's slaying that pussy.
Oh my!
There will still be one more episode before Christmas, so I'll save the most of the vulgar Christmas isms until then, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Fuckboy and the 12 inches of Christmas. On the first inch of Christmas, my true love gave to me the first inch of his 12-inch dick, and so on.
Oh, that's where that was going.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't have guessed. I thought you were talking about snow.
See what I mean? Tough to fucking forget that, even if you tried. Imagine stumbling onto the Gamecasters podcast for the first time, and you're like, oh, looky here, Bernard. They talk about board games. That sounds fun. Let's be fun and start with episode 103. And then they hear about Santa slaying that pussy.
That's it. And they're like, oh, there's probably board games in there at some point.
I bet you that's happened where you've done that to people. Where they're like, oh, a board game podcast.
Well, in the
And it's
intro,
just like,
they're like,
fart,
Yeah.
shit, bitch.
Not what they expected.
How many people have we like scared away? We will never know.
That's
You're right.
true.
We'll never know that. Unless they say to us later.
Yeah.
There is a couple, I won't say it on the show, I'll say it off the show, but there is a couple people who used to like message me on Instagram and talk about the show, and the last like 60 episodes or so, nothing.
Yep.
So I don't know if they just like randomly stopped listening, or if they stopped listening because of
We got cray
Santa's
cray.
When we were
slaying
trying
that
to like
pussy.
be family friendly a while ago, and
Right.
realized,
Yeah.
And they were like,
who
this
we
is
are.
fantastic, and they were
Well,
like, this is terrible.
When Plurpy was the geek of the week in our
Gamer of the
Discord.
week.
Game of the week.
God damn it.
BGG.
Hey, Natalie, what's our
Gamer of
BGG
the
guild
week.
number? 3678.
He was the gamer of the week, and somebody asked him what his favorite part about the Gamecasters community was, and I like loved his answer.
What was it?
I think it was something about how
Have
like
it ready.
it's something about how he
What was it exactly, word for word?
Stop.
Sorry.
Something about knowing that if you like the podcast and you join the Discord, then you're going to be with a lot of people that are like you, like-minded people, and you're not going to be like the weird one in the group, because we're all like the
We're all the weird
so
ones.
many weird
He's
ones.
basically
We are
saying
all
if you
the
like
weird
this
ones.
podcast, you have to be like a certain type of person.
That is
He's right about that.
the truth.
I think he's right about that, and I kind of like. I think we should hang our hats on that kind of thing.
I know, I kinda
We're not
liked
for
it
everybody.
too.
We're not for most people. We're not
don't
for
wanna
almost
be.
every single
Yeah, we don't
person on
wanna
earth.
be
But
for
the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
we are for.
13
I
people
actually
that listen all the
remember
time.
the specific time when we both read it at the same time. We were in the movie theater, we watched it with the kids, and like the movie didn't start yet, and we both looked at each other like, "Did you see Plurby's answer? I loved it. Me too."
I don't remember that.
You
I don't.
don't?
I'm sure it happened.
You're like,
Anyway,
you're like, I'm reading it right now.
and that's. I didn't say it like
Oh my
that.
God.
You're making me sound so. I'm reading it right
I'm reading
now.
it. I'm reading it. Stop,
Oh
Nelly. Don't
dear,
spoil it.
dearest Plurpy.
Don't spoil it.
And that's us. We're like a mixed drink, equal parts board game talk, and appallingly upsetting imagery. We are quite the cocktail.
I did.
So, while I was pondering the episode for the day, I stopped to think about what it is that I'm truly thankful for. I know we're a little over a week out from Thanksgiving, but I think it's important from time to time to let people know how you feel about them, like Plurby. Doing this podcast has been one of the most fun things for me, and there's no way it could have happened in this exact way without the two of you, and for that, I am insanely thankful. I think we truly have something special, and it's only the way it is because of the interaction between the three of us. It's like the conditions for life are just so that it works with the three of us, and I think about that a lot. If anything was different with this, I don't think it works. I guess that's obvious,
yeah.
maybe, but I just think we have this synergy that I really enjoy, and also our community, like Plurpy, is phenomenal. To all of you listening, I speak for Natalie and Jeff when I say, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. Seriously, we are all incredibly thankful for each and every one of you, whether you reach out to us or not, whether you're in the Discord or not. Just you listening means a lot to our unbelievably fragile egos. Meeting and interacting with so many of you brings all of us immense amounts of joy. Jeff tells me all the time that one of his favorite things is actually just reaching out and speaking with a lot of you on Instagram and in Discord and on Facebook and all that. And this podcast is symbiotic, right? It would not exist without you. And that's not lost on us. We care a great deal about our community. And so, again, on behalf of Jeff and Natalie, I want to say, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And then immediately follow that up with thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. From the bottom of our Grinch-like hearts that are 3 sizes too small.
Yeah.
We really, really, really appreciate all of you. So what's up with you guys?
Natalie, what do you got? You got something?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you do. We're watching a show. Tell them about it.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Mm-hmm. We're watching Brooklyn
We're going
Nine-Nine.
through Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's funny.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
it
in
is
season
funny.
5 or 6.
Okay, yeah, we're
And then
in
where are you
2
watching
or
it?
3
We buy
upstairs
it.
on the couch. Oh,
okay, yeah.
we are watching. Yeah,
We're
we're
buying
buying.
Each other's lap.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
it used to
because
be on Hulu
it used to be on
and it's
Hulu,
not.
and now I can't watch it anymore, or I
Right.
have
Yep.
to spend money.
yeah, we're in.
Maybe I'll just
we
buy
kind of
it
do
last
that
season.
where we're going to get into a show and we'll just buy it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I get that.
If it, yeah. It's good. I think it's really funny. I like the show.
So it's by
Mike Schur.
Mike Schur,
The
right?
Office
Who's
and Parks
he was
and Rec.
Moe's
Yeah.
in The Office, right? We know all that. So I think it's not Office quality. It's not
No.
Parks and Rec quality.
But it's still.
But
it's
it's
got
pretty
a lot
good.
of funny.
It's pretty funny.
one-liners. Some funny
Andre Brower,
characters.
especially, I think, who
Is that
plays
Holt?
Holt.
Captain Holt.
Yeah,
Captain Holt is
He's so
hilarious.
awesome.
funny.
He's so awesome.
It kind of reminds me of like. I mean, it's not as funny as like Ron Swanson, but it reminds me of like the Ron Swanson character where he's always serious.
Yeah.
So when he's not, or he shows like a silly side, like Ron Swanson,
Yes.
it's like hilarious.
You're right. It's that kind of trope. It is the Ron Swanson trope. Also, Melissa Fumero, who plays Amy Santiago, is super fucking sexy.
Yep.
That's what Natalie said. Those aren't my words, Natalie.
That's
course,
not
of course.
what I
Yeah,
was
I haven't even noticed. She's just an amorphous,
very
she's-
unsexual
in that show?
blob.
Yeah.
I really
Is she
like
in that show?
Diaz, Rosa.
Rosa's great.
Rosa
Yeah.
Diaz, who
Yeah,
we
they're
found out
great characters.
is
Rosa's the voice
Mirabelle,
of Mirabelle, the main girl from Encanto.
I knew
which
that.
is
Which
you know,
is
did you know that?
blew my
I did.
mind.
I did because I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then when I saw Encanto, I was like, that voice is really familiar.
Oh, you
really?
recognize the voice.
Yeah.
We didn't, and it was kind of like a shock to us. She's also in Modern Family. She's Gloria's sister,
Oh right.
who's
okay.
constantly like
Yeah.
kidnapping Manny
Yeah.
and doing crazy shit.
They're always mad at each other.
So yeah, we're watching that. I've been catching glimpses of this show, the Black Lotus or the White Lotus.
Oh yeah, I've been watching the White Lotus,
What?
and then he'll come
Gross.
and join.
Yeah.
He'll be on the couch.
people
Yeah, there's a
show
couple
You know
people
those like reels where it's like the husband's like,
Coming.
"Oh, do you want to just watch the show with me?" No, I don't want to. And then he like gets all into
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
it's
that's neat.
That's
what happened
what
next?
happens.
Who's
Damn it,
that?
damn it.
Where did
Yeah.
that? Yeah, and you just
You have to pause and be like,
watch it.
"Okay, this person did this, and this person's married to
Aubrey
this."
Plaza's in it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there's this other girl who's really attractive with blonde curly hair. And then there's this like
Totally blonde,
kind of like hooker girl who's really attractive and you see her boobs
So
a
that's
lot.
what real gin.
Yes, that's
The
what
hot
reeled me
people.
in for sure. The hot
Yeah.
people. The hot people and the sex thing. And I like
that.
Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her.
she's great.
She is not in April in this. She's like very different from
Was she in
April.
season 1?
No.
Is it a whole new crew?
The only person that's the same as season 1 is Stifler's mom.
Okay. She's got it going on, so.
She does.
That's
Yeah.
She
Stacey.
But no,
is-
it's a whole
Stacey
different.
Smith. No, you can say
it's
something.
at the White
Yeah.
Lotus, but in Italy, and it's all different
original
people.
MILF.
She was in The Watcher that I watched
Oh,
on
okay,
Netflix.
yeah.
And
Stifler's
she
mom?
was so annoying. Yeah.
She's
Her voice
pretty
is
annoying.
extremely bothersome.
Something she looks like a zombie at this point.
She's got a lot of
Oh
work
yeah,
done, I
she's
think.
like
Yeah,
she
I
does
think
not
that's
look
the
like
problem.
she's
She doesn't look
clinging
human.
to her
Humanity.
yeah.
You know what she kind of looks like? She looks like if someone like the wizard from what's that Disney movie?
The Wizard of Oz.
No,
Fantasia.
That's a green one.
not Fantasia. The Sword in the
Mickey
Stone.
Mouse?
She looks like if the wizard from Sword in the Stone enchanted just a glob of makeup to be a walking,
man,
talking
I
person.
Yeah,
Don't know
That's
the way she
Stifler's
talks
mom.
and stuff. I'm like, man, like how do you memorize your lines? Like
Because
Well,
they're weird.
She looks like she was in a boxing fight, and her eyes were like,
Everything's all puffy.
like you gotta
So
cut her
much-
eyes
there's
open.
so
She
much
just
work
doesn't
done.
look
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
yeah, I know, but I've
But
been
she's
really
probably good-
enjoying
got a
the
good
White Lotus
personality.
actually.
Yeah, she's nice.
This season.
I'm watching Wednesday.
I want to
Oh,
watch
yeah, we're
Wednesday.
gonna watch
Dang
it.
I
it.
think it's great.
Yeah.
I think I didn't go into it knowing kind of much. I knew it was about Wednesday.
Did you not watch the Addams
And-
Family movies and stuff like that?
No, I did for sure. But I didn't know like is it just about her? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's called Wednesday. This one is in Tim Burton's brain, so it's a little weirder. Than,
Oh, it is?
It's even weirder than some of the.
Yeah, I knew it was Tim
Yeah,
Burton.
he makes things real weird.
Like if you've watched any of the Addams Family before, they're just kind of like a weird family with like some spooky stuff, some like things
Right,
going on
living
just
in the
their
normal,
family.
living in the normal. Right,
This has a
world.
touch of like
The whole world is weird.
yeah, a touch of like Wednesday goes to this academy, essentially this like school, like boarding school almost.
Okay.
But there's a whole bunch of people at that boarding school that also is kind of like have a little bit of magic to them or a little different. And
okay.
so it almost has like a touch of like a Harry Potter vibe kind of.
Okay.
Where these cliques of people that have different don't want to say powers isn't the right word, but it's a little bit of a supernatural sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh.
Which I didn't realize that's what it was. But it's very good. Jenna Ortega is very good as Wednesday, I think.
She seems, looking at her, you can see pictures of her and stuff. She seems like the perfect Wednesday.
Yeah, she's very good. And then Christina Ricci's in it, which is also very
Oh, cool.
She is?
Because she
Yeah.
was Wednesday
Wednesday.
in the...
Yeah, she's the
Addams
90s.
Family.
She's the 90s Wednesday. But it's good. We got like 2 episodes left, and I really like it.
Are
I'm
the
hoping that
Addams
there's
Family
more.
characters all part of it, or is it just like...
It's mostly it's probably 90% Wednesday.
Yeah.
I see.
Well,
There's
it's
a
called
couple
Wednesday.
episodes where it's like family visit day, and the family's there.
Cousin It, the thing.
Louis Guzman. The Guzman
Luis
is
Guzman.
he's
Is he? Is he-
Mr. Adams? He's
He
what's his
is?
face?
Oh, the dad.
Yeah, what's his name?
Guzman?
You don't know Luis Guzman?
Yeah, what's
He's
his
great.
name?
Something. Dad, Papa.
Gosh, I know it. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Who plays
Anyway.
the mom?
Morticia?
No,
Oh, that's the
Morticia's the
mom.
mom. Morticia's the mom.
Yeah, but
That
who
is
played,
crap, she's a big
Gosh.
name too. And
Is
I
it,
don't know why I keep
is
forgetting
it,
those things. How
what's her
prepared
name?
are we?
Let's see. Morticia
the woman
Adams.
who's married to
That's her.
Michael Douglas.
Yep.
Is it her? Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Angelica
Catherine
Houston.
Zeta-Jones. Yeah, the Angelica Houston's from that.
No, it's Catherine Zeta-Jones, right?
Yeah, it's Catherine
Oh,
Zeta-Jones.
Jonesy?
And she's
Armgard
great.
Jonesy?
Jones.
And the
Charlize
Guzman.
Theron's in it? No. It just shows her. It
Who's-
says
wait, what's his
Charlize
name?
Theron.
What's the dad's name?
Oh, yeah. Adams
I'll just Google it.
know.
Family Dad.
Starts with a G. Doesn't
Guzman.
Gomez Adams.
Gomez. Yeah, so they're all good.
You should know that. Selena Gomez.
And Selena Gomez Adams.
How did you not know?
How did you not?
I should know
everyone.
literally every reference to the word Gomez
Yep.
because I want to sexually encounter
So
Selena
watch
Gomez.
Wednesday if you haven't, and if you have, let's talk about it on the Discord because I think Sam mentioned that she was watching it and I was into it. So it's hard to like talk about it on the Discord because you don't want to spoil anything for people. But it's very good, especially if you like the Addams
We gotta
Family.
watch
Even
it.
if you don't try it, it's like the music is very cool. The shots are very cool because it's just like contrasting thing of just Wednesday being black and white essentially all the time. And living in a world that's not, and it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
It
is
I
an
think it's
interesting
really
premise.
well done. Yeah. All right, I have a Reddit story.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It's not a poop knife.
Yeah, but
Probably
okay,
not going to go down
what
in
is
history
a
as
poop
being
knife?
the poop knife story. But I
Yeah.
read this, I giggled, I thought it would be good for the show.
Good.
So this is on the Today I Fucked Up
Yep. Okay.
I have a picture of Jeff reading it and going,
Yeah.
screenshot. Yeah, that's what I did.
Giggle, giggle.
So I don't have any comments or anything because I literally just screenshot it. So it says, this morning, my partner and I woke up all horned up.
Okay. That means they want to have sex.
It's one of those things that doesn't happen first thing in the morning as often as we wanted to because we're both in our late 30s, pretty stressed out from stuff being in our lives.
Yep.
They have babies. They have a sick parent that lives in their house needing attention. They've been together for 15 plus years. It says, anyway, we wake up and we're both in the mood.
Got to do it.
Babies are asleep. Her mom, which is living with them, is now at a friend's house.
Nice.
One thing leads to another, and she's on her hands and knees, and I'm happily pounding away, feeling all happy and giddy.
Happily.
She's normally not vocal during sex, but today she was loud, and I thought, hey, I'll join in.
Uh-oh.
So I'm saying things, she's saying things, and I'm completely losing myself in the moment. Then at one point, she goes, and me being the dumbass that I am, responded with, staying alive, staying alive. Immediately, she turns around with what can only be described as a confused, annoyed, what the fuck, dude, look in her eyes. So there I am with her hair in one hand and gripping her hip in the other, and what must have been a goofy-ass apologetic grin on my face because she started laughing and said, you fucking idiot. And basically that was it because she couldn't stop laughing. Even at breakfast, anytime we looked at each other, she shook her head and just chuckled.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my
I thought that was
God,
really funny.
that is great.
Yeah.
I actually kind of have a similar personal story about that. Nothing like that.
Okay.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I was on the receiving end
Okay.
of
You were on all fours,
going
getting hit.
going down upon.
Okay.
I was on the receiving end of it. Okay, so I'm laying on the bed, and the madam.
I hope it's Natalie and you're just preserving her
I
feelings.
know. I was like, I'm
No, this is in
assuming
high school. This is
me.
like in high school.
Oh, this is when
Okay,
we were having all the
it's
sex
so
in high
sex.
school. Yeah.
So many bitches. No, so there was this show. There was this TV show called The Critic. Have you guys heard of The Critic?
Yeah.
The critic? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They said the crick.
Context clues, Natalie. So The Critic. So a show called The Critic, and it was with what was his name? John Lovitz.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
cartoon, right? And he voiced the critic, and it was just like a kind of like a Simpsons spinoff. Okay, and so we were watching the critic, and I was, we were feeling it, and so she was like, "Would you like me to go down upon you?"
Yeah.
Upon you.
Well, she asked your permission.
Well, sure.
Consent.
So I got a letter. We notarized
Yep.
it, and we just
Consent
sent it
is
into
real.
the comptroller. And she started going down upon me. So we didn't turn the TV off, and she's like going down there, and there's this song that starts playing on the show, and it's like New York, New York, the terrible town. Dun, 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 dun. The sky is brown and the water is brown. And then when it says the water is brown, I just start laughing uncontrollably, which would be fine. Dan, I don't know if I
She
should tell
thought you
this
were
next
laughing
part.
at her.
No, she didn't care until. So my whole body kind of convulsed.
Okay.
Oh my
She's
god.
basically being stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you're like choking her?
Yeah, like, ha! I was like, she was like, the sky is brown and the water is brown. And I was like, and then my whole body was like pivoted upward, and you just hear like,
Oh my god. Why are you telling this?
it just reminded me. It reminded me. It wasn't me. It was somebody else I knew.
Yeah, it was somebody else. Yeah.
It just reminded
on
me
Reddit.
from the story.
We should just tell all of Ryan's personal stories as Reddit stories.
Yeah.
That was a Reddit story too.
I've tried to I attempted one time to put a personal story into Reddit. It did not go very well. I
Anytime you've
immediately
ever
removed it.
posted anything on Reddit, it did not go well.
Even when I'm most times I'm pretty sure I don't deserve what I get. But this one time I posted, we were playing this game, Jeff, called GeoGuessr. And it's this,
Yeah, from
right?
the
You know about it? Right?
stream.
It just
We used to do
drops
it on
you
stream all the
into a random spot in the world, and you just kind of have to figure out where you are. Well,
Right.
one time I got dropped randomly into Belgium.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of like moving around the streets of Belgium. It's Google Maps, right? So these are all still photos. And as I look to my right, I'm like on a street, I see a house, and the house has its door is open. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can go in the house and look. So I like zoom in, and on the table in this random house in Belgium that I'm dropped into in GeoGuessr is like Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne,
a bunch of board
Wingspan.
games.
There's a bunch of
Yeah.
stack of
Okay.
board games, and I'm like, oh my
I kinda
god, that's
remember
so
this.
fucking great.
Yeah.
So I screenshotted it, and I uploaded it to Reddit. Like, look what I found.
Did you on the board games?
Yeah,
thing
in the
or
board
on
games,
yeah.
in the board games Reddit,
Subreddit.
subreddit.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, look, and the post was called GeoGuessr board games in Belgium or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I was randomly
look at this
dropped
funny
into
thing that
Belgium, and
happened.
yeah, I found these board games. Here's the picture, and then there was one comment that was just like, oh wow, you found board, like it was like something
Like, wow, other people in the world play board games. Who knew? Or like, you know, something like
I'm just
along
like,
those lines.
Okay, and then so that's the only comment, and I was like, what? Like, are you
Like,
serious? Come on, this is like
seriously,
dude?
crazy and cool. And then the post got removed
Because it said it didn't align with like the category or something.
yeah, like
Use
it
the
shouldn't be
norms
in the our board games forum. And I was like, ugh, I'm never posting to Reddit again.
People on Reddit are ruthless.
What the fuck? They're
That's why you just
terrible.
read. That's why you just read it.
Yeah,
Just read Reddit.
Yeah.
but I'll bet the comments on that story are mostly good. They're probably like, oh, that's funny. I'll bet they're not attacking him personally.
No, I've read Reddit comments like a lot, and I think they're all like that.
People
I
just
always
getting
think of you
viciously attacked.
because I'm always like, man, people are just mean.
They are. They're mean. When they're behind the keyboard, they'll say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I stabbed this girl in the throat one time.
Yeah, that's good.
and
with your ween.
because of the critic.
Your ween.
The sky is brown and the water
Yeah.
is brown. Stabby, stabby.
Yeah.
It
The
wasn't
moral of the story is don't ever watch the critic
while you're getting
while you're going down on your
while
man.
someone is going down upon you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
While you're being gone down upon.
Write it down. Make a shirt out of it.
Janelle, add it to the quilt.
Add it to the quilt.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys have anything else?
No.
Because
Play
we
some
have
games.
actually been playing games.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is there's a lot of, so we record every 2 weeks, give or take.
Yep. Yeah.
This is actually like the first time in a while we're back on schedule.
Yes.
I know.
And I don't know about you, but it feels like we just recorded like
I know.
3 hours
Yeah.
ago.
yeah.
Like Natalie's like, we gotta
on
get
Friday,
something.
I was like, you got a script, and he's like, didn't we like just record?
I'm like, we just
I'm
recorded.
like, yeah, like a week ago.
She's like, yeah, but usually the 2 week time feels like a good amount of time.
Right.
This was like, oh my gosh, like we have to prepare.
Things
we have
keep
to do an
happening
episode.
where we have to push it off.
So, there's always, there's a lot of times where, we're constantly playing games, but there's also a lot of times where we're just not. And so then we're like, oh shit, we got to get something played.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time it's organic. Most of the time it's like, hey, let's play this new game. But this episode, we were like, we got to get stuff played
we
for the
played
podcast.
everything we played yesterday.
We were like,
and
yeah,
today.
we played it all like in the last
Get it all
2
right.
days. So here we go.
Stay up late, play something.
Yes, we're playing games. So this is one of the only times,
Yeah.
not only, but this is one of the few times where, if you're ever wondering at home, we do sometimes play games just for you.
Well, it's funny because we did play games since the last podcast, but it's all games that we've already talked about, so it's not like for the podcast.
Right. So there are games that we've wanted to play. And the podcast kind of gives us a good opportunity to get our Shelf of Shame games played.
Yeah.
Or to get new games played. So if you ever want to do that, just start a podcast.
There you go.
Be
Yep.
fucking successful
Make
and
you feel
amazing like us.
obligated.
Boom. And then you will get your games played. So
Easy peasy.
once in a while, a game comes out and just completely blows up. Pieces flying everywhere, getting all over the house. The police are called. It makes the news. Everyone cries. They hold a vigil. And then once this ace detective named Jeff McMadigan looks at the crime scene and determines that it was not an accident. That game was Azul. And after Papa Azul came out, it
was
fucked
like,
the
what are you
window, and
talking
Azul
about?
Stained Glass of Sintra was born. Then Azul and Stained Glass had some incest in a summer pavilion, and that came into the world. And finally, Azul courted the Flat Out Games Calico, stuck it in, and 9 months later, out came kicking and screaming Queen's Garden. And so in Azul
Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, in Azul Queen's Gambit, players are playing chess. Did you know that they made a Queen's Gambit game, and it's not just chess?
So stupid. I
it
just
like
don't
popping
understand. How
pills
can you
in
get
the-
away with
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that?
it's ridiculous. In Azul Queen's Garden, players are playing to play tiles on their player boards to play and score points by placing tiles next to other tiles of similar color or icon. The tiles are bakelite hexes, and on your turn, you're either selecting tiles to put into your personal storage, or you're taking the tiles that were in your personal storage and placing them on your player board. Everything in this game is all about color and icon. There are 6 different colors and 6 different icons to be found on the hexes. When you're taking tiles, you have to either take all of one color but different icons, or all of one icon but different colors. When you're placing a tile on your player board, you have to pay for it with either tiles of all one color but different icons, or tiles of all one icon but different colors. And it's insanely tricky
Capiche.
to figure that. Capiche? A wee square? When Motherfucker. When you're placing them on your player board, you have to arrange them in a way that they can only be touching if they're the same color or the same icon. So I can have a blue tree. I can't have a blue tree touching a purple bird. Right? The tree would
Because they're
either have
different
to be
and different.
purple or the icon would have to be a bird. The game plays over 4 rounds. At the end of every round, you're going to score based on the position of this dial. The dial points to 3 different things. Like we'll say dark green color, a tree, and light blue. At the end of that round, which happens when all players pass, everyone will score points based on those 3 items that are on their player boards in that round. The dial then moves for the next round, and 3 different things are evaluated. At the end of the game, everything is scored depending on whether or not you have a group which is 3 or more tiles of a color or an icon. So we'll say we start with dark purple, and we evaluate all our boards, and it's like, okay, Natalie, you have a group of 3, and 3 is just touching.
Right.
You have a group of 3 or more. Yes, okay, you score points for dark purple. If I only have 2 dark purples next to each other, they don't score. And we just evaluate every color and then every icon, total up points, and after that, whoever has the most is the winner. So things I liked. This game gives me serious Calico vibes, and if you listen to the show, you know I fucking hate Calico, but this game has Calico vibes in the way that I enjoy. It kind of takes what I hated about Calico and improves upon it. There are many more tiles to look at and decide upon, and overall you feel more in control of what happens and how it happens. Calico, I feel like the game just happens to you, and if you can do it, okay, cool. If you can't, you're fucked. The game is still insanely difficult and tight. I'm sorry, toit, and stressful, and feels impossible to do well like Calico, but it feels a little bit more fair at the same time. The component quality is typical Azul goodness. The tiles are a nice bakelite material. The boards are nice, and the bag is super enormous and really good quality, which is fun to get your little finger pads in there and get those tiles going. Things I did not like. This game gives me serious Calico vibes, and if you listen to the show, you know that I fucking hate Calico. Yeah. So this is definitely an improvement for me upon Calico, but it still gives me that same feeling of like dread and impossibility, which I don't really find that fun. The game for me boiled down to me just going, ugh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. How am I going to make this work? Ugh. And it never really escalated past that. It was mostly just frustration and fear. I did like it much better than Calico for the reasons that I said a minute ago, but a lot of those same core base feelings were there. I was like a trauma victim. Like, oh God, it's Calico again. No. Overall, I think this is the most difficult of all the Azuls. Although I haven't played Stained Glass, and I know that one is also considered pretty.
I think Stained Glass is harder than the other 2.
Yeah.
I haven't played the fourth
So
one.
Natalie has. We'll get her thoughts in a second. I know she's played them all now. I haven't played Stained Glass, but the overall feeling I got for this one was brain crunch. It was every turn. Natalie and I were both like, shit. Like, how do we fuck? What? I want this.
How do we fuck?
But I gotta pay. Well, because you have to pay. It's one of those games where, like, let's think of a game like Race for the Galaxy, where you're paying for cards with other cards that you want to play.
Yeah. Like,
and this game is just like that. You collect these tiles. And then you can only play one tile on your turn, and you got to pay for that tile with other tiles you've collected, which, as you've collected them, you want to play them.
Right.
So then you have to make a decision. And this is what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the decision of which one of these is the best one for me to play. I have to get rid of these other ones that I wanted.
I like that mechanism. It's that puzzle's always kind of fun for me.
That was what I really enjoyed about the game. But at the same token, it locked me up multiple times.
Yeah, it definitely can.
In a way that I did not find fun. It didn't get to the point where I was just like, oh, cool, now I have this, I can do that, and then this. And that's what I love, right? I love the cascading kind of like, you see the Matrix.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and it's just me maybe personally, but I did not see the Matrix in this. I still liked it a lot. And I think it's the most complex one. I think Summer Pavilion, which is the last one that came out, for me personally, I think that's one I like the best. I like the base game second best, and this one I think third. I haven't played Stained Glass, but I do still think this is a really good game. I'm kind of with Jeff. He mentioned before he's just kind of over Azul. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like that too. I do enjoy playing them, the new, like seeing what the new one has to offer.
Right. What does it do?
But I don't think like I don't know how to explain it. When Blue came out to begin with, I was like, oh man, this is great.
Right.
Like, wow, is this cool? And I don't feel the same way about the other ones. However, I still do have desire to get them all. So I think this is a very good game if you are looking for something kind of like Calico, but if you had similar feelings that I did, where it's just a little bit too almost unfairly tight, this alleviates some of that while still giving you that same feeling you're getting in Calico of like, shit, how am I going to get this? I need this one exact tile to fit between these two to unlock all this stuff. And how am I going to get it? In Calico, you're just fucking screwed if it doesn't come out. You can't do anything about it. In this game, there are, you'll see more tiles than you see in Calico, and there's a little more ways to get what you get done. There's more rounds. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. Natalie, what do you think?
I thought this was a really challenging game, but in a good way. I was going to say exactly what you said about the types of games where like, you have to pay stuff using your other stuff that you got. All those types of games are just hard for me because it's like you're only taking stuff that you think you could potentially use, but then you got to spend that stuff that you have plans with to be able to use the other stuff that you have.
So you almost need to take stuff that you don't necessarily like. You're like, I want to take a turn to pay for other
sometimes
tiles.
You're taking stuff that like I just don't care about, so I can just spend it. But then, like, there's so many times in this game where you have to pivot because, like you said, it's a little more flexible than Calico, but at the same time, like there's still randomness. So like sometimes you need a specific thing and it's not coming out. So then you got to pivot and you're like, I was saving all these for this. It's not going to happen. Now I'm just going to spend all those to do this other thing.
Yep.
So like those decisions were difficult, but I thought really fun. It was very hard. I mean, it was a hard game, but to me, it was almost like a little above the border of it being not fun or frustrating. Like I could see how it could be, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't quite there. I thought it was fun. It was more just to me like I know how to figure this out. I even felt
it's a puzzle you liked.
Yeah, and I even felt like I want to play this again. I was like, I think I can do better. I think I see now.
I can.
You're supposed to, like, certain things will give you extra like wild tiles if you encircle them, and like the way you have to encircle them, like I just kept screwing myself over, so it was like impossible. And so I was like, I want to do.
Yeah, that reminded me of Summer Pavilion.
That
way you're trying to enclose certain features.
Yeah, it did remind me of
board.
Summer Pavilion. I even wrote that down too. I remember even having a similar feeling in Summer Pavilion, like how am I going to do all this? And I want to do better next time. Like I want to try to figure the puzzle out. So I actually really liked it. And as far as what I like the best,
yeah, where do you rank it in the four Azuls?
You have to play them all back to back.
I know it's hard.
You did that. You did that when Summer Pavilion came out.
The only
Yes,
thing
we
I
did the
know for
3.
sure is the first Azul is 100% my least favorite.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn,
because
100%.
Poor OG.
Not even like 98%.
That was the reason the other ones even exist.
I know.
If that
even
blue
like
was a
95.
bad
But
blue,
that
there'd
was
be
one,
no other blues.
that was
Forget
one
blue.
where like I played it.
She blew herself too early.
and
Yeah,
I
you blew
never
yourself too early.
want to play it again. Like I played it enough. Like
I feel that way, too.
The rest of them make it more gamey and like challenging. That makes you want to like come back to it.
Well, okay, rank them. Can you?
Do it.
I don't know if I can.
What if she
Because I
was
don't remember.
Base Azul number 1.
1, 2, 3, 4. In that order. Just 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if I can.
Getting
rank
worse
them.
and worse.
I did like all 3 of the other ones, but I haven't played them in so long.
Do you have all of them?
We got
Nope.
rid of them.
We got rid of. We have only have Queen's Garden now.
Are you
Yeah.
getting them?
No. Wait,
No.
what?
Are you gonna? You said you want to have them all.
No, he just means you don't have to buy
No.
the new ones that come
Oh, you
out.
want
Yeah,
buy
well,
the
like when a
try
new
out.
one comes out, I always want to play
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have owned all of them except Stained Glass.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong because I haven't played these in a while, but in my head, it's like kind of on the same page as the other 2, not the original.
Man, that
Azul.
poor original blue.
I know.
The OB.
That game, have we beat that down?
I don't remember.
That might be a good one to beat down because people love that game.
Yeah.
That game still that's an evergreen,
I'll check on
Yeah,
that.
it definitely is.
right? That game sells like crazy.
This game's keeping people.
So that is Azul, Queen's Garden. Now,
Keys-
were you all set
Kiesling
with
made
your
that
thoughts
one.
there?
Did he make them all?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I'm done.
Yeah, I think so. Let me. That's a good question, actually. I wonder if
I
there's
know he
like,
made the first 3 for
I wonder-
sure.
Oh, he did. Okay, then probably.
I don't know about this.
It had a similar feel. He probably.
He probably at least touched it.
It does
or at
feel-
least his name has to be on it. Like
It
if
does feel very similar to.
is it Next Move makes
It is.
this,
It is
or-
Kiesling.
I'm sure
Yeah,
if they
Next
have
Move.
to have an Azul, there must be a contract. If they have to have an Azul, I think his name has to be on it.
Yeah, he's the only designer on this, so it is definitely just
Good for him.
So yeah, we liked it. It was good. I thought it was. I think I like Summer Pavilion a little better, but after sitting on it, I would play it again.
I don't even
You
remember
would?
Summer Pavilion.
Remember, someone's got like diamond shaped ones,
Yeah,
and you're
you
trying to
say
fill up
that.
these like
Like
stars.
flowers.
Yeah, you're trying to like fill up these
Yeah.
like flowery stars. I remember you didn't like it as much. I remember that.
I
remember you
think
said that.
I liked 2 the best, but that's like everybody else's
stained
least
glass one.
favorite.
Is it really?
I liked
haven't played
In
that.
two.
terms of like rankings, when you look
I
at
liked
the
all
7
three
point
of
whatever,
them,
I think that one's the lowest.
Is it really? Okay.
Oh, wow.
What you got, Jeff?
Okay, on Mondays we have been playing we've been repeating our games. Okay.
Yeah.
We played in Spirit Island last Monday.
Wait, like
again.
purposefully?
Yeah, just like playing games we've already played. So I don't have like new games to talk about from my Monday group because
Yeah.
sometimes I get that, and it's my pick tomorrow.
Nice.
So you
So
will.
we'll be having a new game.
Do you know what it is? Can you reveal it
I
for
think
us?
I'm going to pick La Cremosa.
Oh, sweet! I forgot you had that. Yeah.
I think that's what I'll pick. I have no idea
Cool.
if that's how you say it.
That's
I
got
just
like
feel
area
it's
majority,
like
doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Now, so we played Spirit Island. I tried a new. I wish I knew what it was called or remembered, but it was something about mist. And we played the Scots, and we won. So you can add in
sweet.
like the,
I wondered if you won.
the land of the Scotland, and it was challenging. It takes a little while, which would be maybe my main complaint of
Spirit Island. in
Spirit
general.
Island. It takes a while because you're kind of you have to plan out things. It's not
Yeah.
just you. You're kind of working together.
Yep.
Like, oh, I want to do this, but the stuff I'm doing might stop what Dave's
It's kind of a
doing, so you
lifestyle
kinda have
game.
to-
It's one of those games where, like, if
Yeah.
that was the only game you had,
and
you
that's
could
like all we did.
really,
We played it for
really
3
get
hours
into
on
it.
Monday, so that was kind of
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
And then we've played. We're I think 10 or 11 into Jaws of the Lion.
Oh, wow.
And it was cool. I showed up on Monday. Joe hosted, and he gave us all of our little box, and he has like a 3D printed tray for all of our stuff. So
Cool.
we had our stuff. And I was like, "Oh, Joe, man, I thought we were going to show up and we were going to have painted minis." And he was like, "Ooh."
Oh,
So we opened up our box with our character in it, and Joe had painted all of our minis.
Oh,
yeah,
we
which
were
is
right.
cool. So I was like, "Oh, I'm like, didn't mean to spoil the thing." He's like, "No, that was sweet." So it was pretty cool. All of our Jaws of the Lion minis are all painted.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
That makes it
Cool.
so much cooler.
Yeah, even if it's just again like we played My Father's Work a couple weeks ago, and they just have like a wash on it. It's like that gray. Even that just looks cool.
It does.
Yeah,
Put
and just like a plain.
like the Mechs versus
It just
Minions
looks
stuff. It's like it looks so much better with
when
just
it's
a
not.
wash.
Right.
Yeah.
God,
So
we
but
gotta
with
get
the paint,
moving on the
it's so
Cerebria
cool.
ones now.
So
We should make a.
with that being said, I just said that because we haven't been playing new games on Monday, so I've forced Devin to play some games. I forced you guys to play some games, and right before the show, we played a hot ass game.
Shit's hot in both name and
Yes.
And looks.
And looks and
and
popularity.
thank you, popularity. Dang
This
it,
game is called Flamecraft. This game is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's on Instagram. It's in my bag.
You burned it on a storage unit?
It's burned. Yep, most definitely. It is everywhere.
It is all over the place.
And it blew up. It had a very successful Kickstarter, which is where it came from. The Kickstarter deluxe components are amazing, so it's very photogenic in that way. And then it's also getting
It knew what it was doing.
brand new news as of like yesterday. It won like Game of the Year over at PAX Unplugged.
Wow.
Is it Unplugged over there?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so it's been getting it's been getting positive reviews along with some haters, but I was very much excited to try this game. And my love, like right away, I was like, yes, I can't wait to play this game. And then I started to read some stuff that I know might have turned me off from it, and I was like, okay, and I cooled a little bit. But we needed to try it because it was so hot, and our dozens of listeners need to hear about this game. So this is designed by Manny Vega.
Vincent Vega.
He's a nobody. Manny Vega, this is like his first game. He might have one other kind of nothing, but this will be his game, at least for a little bit, moving forward.
Okay.
The artist is the true winner of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's cool.
Sandra Tang.
Look
T-A-N-G.
at Mangum,
She wins.
Sandra
She is
Tang.
also a nobody that is not going to be a nobody in the future.
Oh, she is, huh?
Yeah, double check that.
I'm looking it up.
Look up if she has
Let's check it
anything
out.
in her on her resume. But this is going to propel her into.
Yeah, she
People are going to want her to do their.
She's
board
on a
games.
bunch of stuff, actually.
Oh,
she's
she is,
on
never
Lord of the Rings, the card game, Legacy of Dragonholt, Descent.
Oh, okay, she's on. Things.
So she's on some stuff. Yeah.
So she's
Android
amazing. So
Netrunner,
maybe now
Cosmic
she's
Encounter.
maybe working her way to a household name.
yeah.
Because maybe she's the lead. Maybe she's not the lead artist on some of these, and she got to be the lead on this
Right.
one. Who
That's
knows?
could be. Yeah.
So-
I mean, her last name's Tang. So.
If you've never seen the artwork on this, it's very kid's not the right word. It's
No,
family
I wouldn't
friendly.
say
I know, but
kiddie.
it's like cute dragons.
Yeah, it's like cute.
But I don't
Cutesy.
want you
Cutesy.
Sure, yeah, but don't think of it as like a child. It's not Peppa Pig, right?
Right.
It's
No.
not.
But
So
the
it's
dragons look like kind of like little cartoony.
yeah, they're
characters.
friendly looking dragons.
Yeah.
They
I
kind of look cute.
If you said kitty, I wouldn't be like, no way. But it's definitely more cutesy.
Yeah.
It looks.
It's not my first Haba game, right? It's not any of
Yeah,
those.
it's not like
No.
that.
Kid.
But
I
it
feel like if
definitely.
you saw it at Target, you'd be like, "Oh, my kids would love this." You know, like,
I mean, guaranteed. That's got to be the main draw for why the Kickstarter was so popular, right?
I
It
think so.
looks beautiful.
yeah, it does.
So, in Flamecraft, are you ready?
Let's
You
do
are
it.
Flame Keepers. Did you know that we were Flame Keepers?
I knew
when we
that.
played
I
this?
knew it. Of
course you
fucking
knew.
knew.
As Flame Keepers, you are gathering items. You're
thought it was
placing
dragons.
I thought we were
dragons.
shop.
You're casting
patrons.
enchantments. We're going to the shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get married.
We're casting enchantments to help the shops out. So we live in that little city.
Right.
Okay. The board is like a 3-foot long player
So
mat.
fucking long.
Yeah, so long.
It's a gigantic mouse pad, and
It
I'll
is.
try to mention this at the end. But the copy that we played was a retail version. All copies come with a player mat, so there's no actual like physical cardboard board that you're laying out,
Which is
It's
awesome.
all a mat. So you'll get a mat no matter what copy of the game you have. You roll that bad boy out. It's long. It's girthy. It's not girthy. It's actually long and kind of skinny, and it reminded me like lengthwise of like the Arc Nova board. It's just kind of it's
Yeah.
long, which is a little strange, but it's long.
Long and skinny.
Players all have these dragons. So what you are is, as a Flamecrafter, you kind of can help, like you can push these dragons to different stores to help out the stores. That's what you're doing. So that's the theme, I guess, right? Players have a hand of dragons, and each dragon specializes in something, which really just attribute, like, it's basically you have a matching symbol. There's symbols. There's bread. Meat is a new bread. Iron, crystal, plants, and potions. There's 6 different symbols, and they match different things throughout the game. Cool. On your turn, what you do is you take your dragon token, which is a wooden piece. If you get the deluxe version, I believe that they're plastic minis. You move your dragon to a shop. So within that long mat board, there's a bunch of shops. You move your dragon to a shop, and you pick either to gather or to enchant. If you gather, you get stuff. You get the stuff that's there, and you can also activate a dragon power of a card that's there. Or you can choose to enchant that shop, which means that you use the stuff that you have collected to fulfill a contract to add to the shop, which makes the shop more attractive and better, and people want to go there. That's the game.
Yeah.
Okay? The ways you score points is their contracts, obviously. There are the cards that you get for end-game scoring or in-game scoring are called fancy dragons. So you can get fancy dragons to help you out. And you basically do this over and over and over again until one of the decks runs out, and you total up points. It seems like I should be saying more about the rules, but that's really it.
That's it.
You move your dragon to a shop, you either get stuff or you use stuff to put things out.
That's it.
That's it.
That's what I fucking do.
Okay. As I as I played this game, I knew that I was like, I need this game in my life. And then knowing that my interest sort of lowered a little bit over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think that this surpassed my expectations.
Your initial expectations or your expectations?
I don't know. But I think it's close to my initial expectations. If I had to say, like, my initial expectation was a 10 and now this is a little lower. But I'm not going to do that. But before coming into this house and walking in and laying it out, this is better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Especially after all the IG love and going, all right, is this...
Right.
And I'll have you speak more to that, too. I'm sure you have some points on that. Because it was everywhere. And people were just, like, skeeting all over this game. Like, it was...
Like, the critic was on in the background.
Yeah, they were just poking throats.
Down
and they were just... So, there's no... You can't review this game without talking about how beautiful it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. The mat is great. The cards are of good quality. The art on the cards are very cool. The dragons are all unique and different. The powers are the same for each symbol, but the dragon art on the cards are different, which I
love that.
I love that. I love that. It makes it a work of love, right, for Sandra Tang. That they could have just made all the blue dragons look like this, all the green dragons look like this, but they didn't. Right? They gave them all names, which you can house rule and have them read the names. You can, so, inside joke, you know. And then, so that also the goods that you're collecting are tiny pieces of cardboard. If you get the deluxe version, they're wood. I don't know if I would need the deluxe version of this game. I thought what came in the regular retail box was sufficient and like a better than average that you're gonna get in a game. What I really liked about the game is I thought there were more tougher decisions than I thought there were going to be initially. I thought it was gonna be like, well, I need to go there to get that stuff, and then I'll just move there to build something, right? So it's just gonna be like me moving, getting stuff, and then building. But there was a lot of times where I felt like myself and the other, the three of us were like, there's a lot of good spots to go.
Yeah.
What do I do? Like, I can do that. And I really love that. I thought the game ramped up pretty nicely, too. You start by just going to spots and getting 1 or 2 resources. And then by your, like, 7th, 8th turn, you're like, you could be like, I can get 7 resources. Yeah. And I can activate this dragon power. And it allows me to do this. And then we're getting a new shop that comes out. And as the game progresses, not only are you getting more in each spot, these new shops are coming up. And the shops are so awesome. Each new shop has a power that you can activate, which will give you, like, points or something really awesome. I loved how it kind of ramped up. If it would have stayed kind of stagnant, like from the beginning, like if those new buildings were just kind of basic buildings again, I think I would have been like underwhelmed. But man, I really thought the game ramped up just so well. Anyway, things that maybe aren't in its favor, and this might still be in its favor. I don't think this game does anything new. I don't think you're going to play it and be like, this is a revolutionary thing, which is kind of when I saw the game and saw the love for it. I'm like, okay, it's got to be doing something. And it really doesn't. Collecting stuff, doing contract fulfillment is not new, but everything this game does it very well.
Yes.
I don't see a ton of like holes. I'm not like, that's weird, that's broken, why doesn't it do this? It just does the contract fulfillment, goods gathering, Euro-y kind of worker placement thing very well. And I think if you go in, last thing I want to say about just things I liked were the variability in the buildings. There are tons of buildings, and you're not going to see nearly all of them in a game. And with the different mix of buildings, I really think it changes how you can approach like a strategy and where you want to move and what you want to do with your goods. That I really liked. I think that if you have reasonable expectations for this game, I think this could be a real like hit. If you're going to go in thinking that this is going to be like kind of like a brain burner, really heavy sort of like deep game, it's not that. But if you go in with some reasonable expectations and go like, this is a really solid game, I think it's going to be better than what you think, and I think it's a big winner. So I really liked it. I'm happy to play it again. Even on like a game night, it's a game that I'll pick on a Monday and see how it plays with 4 or 5 people. So what did you guys think of Flamecraft?
Well, lots of thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. So I'm going to echo a lot of what Jeff said here, but I was also very interested in this game initially. I didn't back it. And when it started to come out and people were starting to post about it, I was like, shit. I kind of had that like, damn, I wish I would have backed this. This looks really cool.
Yeah.
And based only on the way it looked in pictures. And then I started to kind of get skeptical. And the reason I got skeptical is because if anybody knows the Instagram gaming community, there are a lot of nice people there. However, There's a little bit too much, in my opinion, of just every game is awesome.
Yeah.
And every game is not awesome, in my opinion. And I think it's a misnomer. And I think it's sometimes can be detrimental to new gamers to see all the everything is awesome kind of stuff, as they'll spend money on a game that they really don't think they should have.
And I think what's hard is there's, let's say you follow 500 board game accounts. Everybody's going to like different games. And a lot of people don't post about games they don't like.
Right.
Like people, I don't like a lot. I don't like games I play sometimes, and then sometimes I just won't post about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm highlighting certain games or I'm highlighting certain parts. But yeah, it's people are going to post about games they like,
That's
even
true.
if they hate games.
There's a lot of that, but there's also, I think, a lot of people are just so willing to just be as nice and charitable as they can. You know, either I don't know if it's because they were gifted a game and they just want to look good to the publisher, so they keep getting new games, and so they withhold some opinions, or if maybe they just aren't. I would say this: I'm a little more critical of games than maybe most people.
Who generally like
they just like
everything
everything, and that's
play.
fine. I'm not saying anything's wrong with
I'm
this.
one of those people.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with what
Mr.
you're doing or
Measles
what
says
anybody's
he's like
doing.
that too.
Yeah.
But personally, it doesn't help me individually when I look at Instagram a lot, because if you would look at anytime anybody posts anything on Instagram, it's just like, this is the best game. This game's so great. Oh my God, it's so good, blah, blah. And so it's easy to get caught up in that, and then that ultimately let down when you know it. So all of that was a preamble for me of saying I was very skeptical, because I'm aware of that phenomenon on Instagram. I'm aware of that. And so I've only been seeing a lot of this game on Instagram. I haven't really researched it myself. I didn't look on BGG before. I was just seeing it all over Instagram, and I was interested, but skeptically interested. And I think it's the artwork, the amazing artwork of, what's her name? Tang?
Yeah.
Sandra
Tang. The amazing artwork of Sandra Tang caught my eye and made me want to play this. And the player mat and just the way the game looks on the table looks unique.
Yeah.
The way it's all laid out looks like, wow, it's got table presence. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So Jeff got it, and he sent a few games last night. He's like, well, I got these 3 games. What do you want to play? And we decided on Flamecraft, and I was excited. I was initially like, yes, I'm kind of excited to see what the hubbub is about.
Natalie's exact words: "Fuck it, ... Let's play Flamecraft."
She said that. I was like, why did you say
I know. He's like, why does he say fuck it? Jeff's gonna be like, what does she mean, fuck it? I'm like, he'll get it. It's the longest game,
Yeah, it's the-
and
it
I'm
was the
like,
longest
fuck it.
one of
Let's
the
just
3.
play
Fuck
that
it,
one.
yeah.
Fuck it. It's 20 minutes longer than the other one. Let's just fuck it. Who cares? I got 20 minutes. I'll play anything for 20 minutes. So we get it out. We get it played. And again, I'm like, I don't know. We started playing it, and I was like, okay, that was kind of fun. And then we play again, and the next turn comes around. I'm like, I could do this.
Right.
Ooh, maybe I'll do that.
I know.
And then the next turn came around, and I was like,
that
this
ramp
one that
up,
I
that,
just
like,
did a minute
crescendo or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I love. I just talked about this with Winter's Bone that I didn't love.
Winter's Bone?
What the hell is it called? The
Queen's
Winter's
Garden?
Queen's Garden.
What? How did that turn into
Winter's
that?
Bone?
Winter's Bone? Queen's Garden. I gotta get there. Hold on. Queen's Garden.
Azul. That's the next Azul. Winter's
No.
Bone.
We gotta get time out. We gotta get from Queen's Garden to Winter's Bone. This is like one of these like SAT questions. If Winter is queen and Bone is this, then what
Winter's
is
Queen.
Winter's queen?
No,
So
I forgot it was Queen. I think I was thinking, I was like, it's not summer.
Like,
pavilion.
is there like
it's
a
not summer, it's
queen?
No, because
winter.
so summer, winter.
Oh,
okay.
summer, winter,
and then
winter
Bone.
glow.
Is Winter's Bone a movie?
Winter's Bone.
I've never heard of such.
Yeah,
think
maybe
Winter's-
a movie you've
is
seen. You
Winter's
gotta pay $9.99 a month.
Yeah. Maybe it was that scramble porn.
No, there's a movie
Yeah.
called Winter's Bone. It is.
is
It's a
it?
movie.
No,
it's
it's
with
not.
Jeff's girl that he likes.
Selena Gomez.
No, that's
Jennifer
me.
Lawrence?
Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence
Winter's
is in it.
Bone. Yeah, because that's what came in your head. Winter's Bone.
I don't know. It's just there it
That's not
was.
a movie.
Winter's.
It is a movie. I just fucking looked it up. It came out in
You did.
2010. It's with Jennifer
All right,
Lawrence.
Winter's Bone. That's
anyway,
how we got there.
So, I like I talked about in that game. It didn't have this cascading feeling of like, oh, I'm playing and like now I'm starting to see the light and I can do this and that and this and that. Flamecraft has that.
Yeah.
You start at the beginning, and whenever you go to a location, like Jeff said, you can gather or you can enchant. If you gather, you just get all the resources of the icons that are on both the location and the cards that are currently there. And that is so simple of a concept, and it works really well. The iconography is handled very well in this game. You look at a location, and you can clearly see what you're getting. You can clearly see the icons, like, oh, if I go there, I get 3 leaves, 2 meat is the new breads, and a potion. And There are some games, like a game this reminds me of is kind of Ex Libre, where it has these different things that keep coming out with more abilities on them. And that game has the most ridiculously small text on it that's almost impossible to read. And so because it's so small to read, you're just like, fuck it, I don't want to do it. This game handles it much better. Everything is clear. There's a lot of... The artwork is kind of like... It's kind of like a cacophony of art. So there's a lot going on. It's a lot to look at. It's very busy. The board is busy. However, it's still very clear to tell what exactly you're doing. The locations are separated enough from the artwork in the board. What's the word I'm looking for? Contrasted. They're contrasted enough that they're very easy to identify. Even once the board starts to get clogged up, because you can get like 14 different locations, I think, you can get on the board by the time the game is over. And each location has all these cards that are added. So there's a lot of crap on the table going on, but it's very easy to see. And the cool thing is, the more you play the game, the more stuff comes out, the better these locations get to go to. And for me, that equates to fun.
Like even the ones that don't have the special abilities on them, that you just get tons of stuff.
You just go there and you're like,
those ones
I don't need to go to this space necessarily for what I was initially planning to do. But now that Jeff's off of that space, if I go there, I'm going to get 8 resources.
Yeah, it made I'm
going to be able to use.
It made the spaces feel like close to equal.
Yeah,
because the initial shops that come out right away don't have a special power on the board, but you build those up quicker, so you're getting more resources.
Well, they're already seeded with a card.
Yeah, so they
always
start better. And now, when the new buildings come out, they don't have as cards. They're not seeded right.
Right, so you get a special ability that you may or may not be able to use, but you don't get that many other things.
So the ramp up in this game is really interesting. It's simple enough that it's not complicated to do, but it's complex enough that it doesn't play itself. There's games that are like kids games where it's just like, okay, obviously I'm going to go here and take the cherries.
Right, true. It's not.
This doesn't have that. It's not just like on rails. Like I said, there could be 14 different locations for you to go to, and each location is going to give you a different kind of thing. You're going to get, okay, if I go there, I'm going to get a bunch of these leaf resources that I can then use maybe on next turn to fulfill this contract, or if I go here, I can get 3 of these anvil resources, and that's going to give me enough anvils that I'm not going to be able to fulfill a contract with it, but I can spend them at this other location to get points in that way. Mm-hmm. So the contracts are basically the main ways to get big points. They're basically the main ways. However, there's a bunch of other things that you can do if like someone's going for those same contracts. And I can kind of tell Natalie's got the same resources I have. Shit, she's going to get that ahead of me. You're not ruined. You can pivot very easily to use those resources somewhere else, and you can get kind of the same amount of points, sometimes more than you can for the contracts. And so that makes it really interesting decision-wise of how do I spend my turn. And it's also not a terrible idea to just go collect a bunch of resources. The game isn't so tight where I can't afford to waste a turn to go over there because now I'm screwed and now that messes with the timing. It's light enough that everyone's kind of doing that kind of stuff. And so it feels really interesting. Now, Jeff mentioned that the game doesn't really do anything different, and he's right. But for some reason, it feels like it does.
Yeah, it doesn't feel old. I wasn't trying to say. Yeah,
and we were saying this before. We were talking about this a little bit before the show. There's a lot of games I play, and I play it, and I'm like, this was good, but I have 8 other games in my collection that do this. And Flamecraft is sort of similar. Like contract fulfillment is not a new mechanism. Worker placement is not a new mechanism. Gathering icons, collecting resources, it's all stuff you've done. But the way it's all put together and the way the game feels is completely different. And this game feels like... what's the word we always use? Like for Castles of Burgundy? Smooth. This game felt pretty smooth to me. I really enjoyed my play of it. If there's anything I didn't like, there's one thing, and it's the length of the board. I hate that. It's like... It reminds me of Ark Nova, where the board is just so fucking long... And it takes up my entire game table in length. And there's only one way you can put it on the table. And then you have all the stuff laid out, along the length of this game board. And so you either have to play the game kind of standing up, or you're going to have to ask people, what does that do over there? Can you put my guy over there? And that's annoying. It is annoying, I think. It's like, I don't know that they could have done it a different way. They probably could have. But the way they did it, it's kind of has to be that long because the cards need to be big enough that you can see them. and have that thing that I said where the iconography is clear and simple to grasp. That they need to be that big so you can do it. Yeah, placing 3 cards there. The cards got to be a certain size. So I could see where they were kind of like, well, shit, what do we do here? I guess the only way to do this is to make this board, 6 miles long.
Yeah. Or shrink everything down.
Shrink everything down.
Which again, then you run into tiny text and you run it. Yeah, so that is annoying.
But that's I think
might
that's
be a way to just kind of, if you're playing 2 players, you sit next to each other and maybe you like.
Yeah, you can sit on either side. It's not so annoying that I would not recommend it. It's definitely recommended, I think, highly from me, especially if you're looking for a light to medium. It's on the light side of light medium.
Agreed.
Right? It's not I don't even know if I would call it a gateway game though. Probably. I guess it probably would be a gateway game. But it's on the light end of light medium, but I thought it was really, really fun. I really enjoyed my play with it. That could be just me. I don't know. Natalie, what'd you think?
Well, I think between the two of you, you mentioned every single point that I wrote down.
Is that why you kept laughing? I'm like, she keeps laughing.
Well,
why is she laughing?
You were literally,
next time we play one before the show.
Is he just reading my notebook?
Next time we play before the show, I'll go and then you'll go.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
It's not fine. Now, do the favor. People need to hear you.
I have a half-written sentence because as I was writing it, you were saying it, and I was like, all right.
All right.
And then I was like, well, he didn't say this. And then you started saying it like exactly. And I was like, what?
Well, Natalie and I pretty much played the exact same game. We were like within 1 or 2 of each other.
Like kind of
Ryan beat us by like 15.
Right.
So we weren't even close.
One last thing I wanted to touch on about that.
Natalie's
was
only point left.
Yeah, that's Natalie's last point. Okay, so I jumped out to a lead in the pretty quick. It was pretty early in the game. I kind of like jumped out to this lead. I used my power, the search power, and I kind of held that lead the whole game. But I never felt like, well, I'm just a runaway leader. There was a lot of times where you can have turns in this game where you're like, I'm about to drop 12 points, and you're not going to know because you have these cards that are hidden behind you that you can kind of like, haha, look at this, I get 5 points for that, plus I just got 8 points there, and boom, you just race up. Now, I was doing that a lot the whole game. I felt like things were working for me, but I never felt like, you guys have no fucking chance to catch me. I'm just destroying you.
Toward the end, it felt like, okay, we did catch up a little bit. Like, we're there.
Before final scoring, also, I was only ahead of you, Jeff, by 2 points, and Natalie by 4.
Well, and then I could have, if I took 2 different resources on the last one, I took 3 to 4 points away from you. Because that card, if I take 2 bread instead of 2
if you happen to take the bread,
then we're tied and you lose, which again, you didn't know or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wasn't as a blowout as I thought it was going to be.
Yes. Yeah, same here. So go ahead, Natalie.
Well, ditto everything they said.
Jeez, come up with original thoughts. Jeez.
I mean, no, I felt the same way. I felt it had that smoothness like Castle of Burgundy. Like it just felt like everything worked so well.
This game basically
together.
is Castle of Burgundy.
And like,
what's the difference? What's the difference?
Yeah. We may as well just call it an essential right now.
I mean, I enjoyed it literally from start to finish. Like after the first turn, I was like, I like this a lot, and so. Even though it's kind of hard to say exactly why, you just had that feeling.
Like 5 times in the game, you're like, I want this.
Yeah,
I know.
That's how you know the game is good for Natalie.
I'm gonna buy this.
I mean, it was really cool to look at. I liked all the names. It had names for shops. It had names for the is that called?
The dragons.
Yeah, enchantments. Names for the dragons. Yep. Everything was really cute, and really, like at the end, I know there was like a lot, but it looked like a bustling little town because the long mat was a road and then had all these shops with all these patrons in the shops, and so it just looked like a busy little town.
It looked great.
And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. I want to get it.
Oh man, you probably already got it. Ryan's typing.
Probably.
Did you buy it? Actually?
Ryan's typing.
Yeah, can I type?
Yeah.
I think I'm typing this time.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do. Like, it's got enough buzz and enough popularity, and probably has made enough money to have people wanting an expansion. Are they going to put it back out on Kickstarter? I know
definitely.
So when
this will be expanded for sure.
When it comes to publishing, at least in the U.S., it's a Lucky Duck. You're going to get it through Lucky Duck. So find them. There's a name on it, like Alchemy. Something Alchemy is the
actual
publisher, and then Lucky Duck picked it up. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what their next steps are. Could they expand dragons to having different powers? If you want to make this game heavier, we also played with the companions, like mini. I don't want to call it a mini expansion, just
Cardboard
like
Academy.
Cardboard Academy. So we played with the companions. Expansion's not the right word. What am I trying to say? Like the just
variant,
edition, right? Where we each got like one power, and like that's a cool way to sort of make it. But I think we talked about if you played it with Cameron, who I think would love the game and could get it and understand what he's doing every single time, you might not play with that to start with. Maybe that's like second game thing,
right?
Another thing I was gonna say when Ryan said something about like not being able to see because it's across the whole table. There on the back of like the main card, there is an explanation of like what everything does. So like even if you're like, I see over there's a meat. What does that do? You can just look on the back of your card because they're all the meats are the same, all the leaves of the same like power or whatever. So
because they keep it pretty standard for having a lot of variability. I think with other things, those cards are standard. So Flamecraft, I think I
liked it a lot.
So winner I was going in a little kind of. It started maybe in a negative, and it bumped up for me a lot, so I was happy with it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's definitely the love that's getting on Instagram, it turns out, personally, for me, is warranted.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I liked it a lot. So a few months ago, Gamecasters benefactor Dan the Burrito Man, Fat Guy Eating Burritos, gifted Jeff and us a copy of Fister Barely Newer's new big box version of one of his old standby games, Port Royal.
Yep.
Well, Natalie and I went over to Frankie and Kyle's last night to watch Pei. It's a Bay, not a show. And we played Port Royal. So
I'm so glad you got it played because I feel so bad I haven't got it played.
I know.
I've gotten nothing played since like a while, like with Devin or just like I've been bombarded with other things. And Devin and I haven't played a lot of games together recently.
Recently.
I'm like, man, I need to get that game played because he keeps staring at me. So I'm glad you got it played.
Same here. Yeah, I've been very interested in it for a long time. So Port Royal is a press your luck card game. There's a ton of expansions and variants that are in the box. Maybe not a ton. Maybe that's the wrong word. There's a few expansions and stuff in there. Everything that's been released for it has been, I think, is in this big box version. We just played the base game to start. And so here's how that went. So in Port Royal, players are racing to be the first to 12 influence points. You gain influence by getting cards. The game is just cards. So on your turn, you simply flip up a card from this massive deck of 120.
Okay.
And the card flipped will either be a Brote, a profession.
I have 5 of Brotes.
If you have 5 of Brotes, you'll probably win.
Okay, good.
Okay. Is a Brote a profession card, an expedition, or a tax card? When you flip a card, you have a decision to make. Like all push your luck games, you either keep going and flipping more, or you stop. Once you decide to stop, you move on to the second phase, which is taking cards from that row that you just, unveiled to put into your own tableau or to use later, or to gain money. I said or. So to put into your own tableau to use later or to gain money. The other players can then also select and take cards from that row, but they have to pay you 1 gold tax to do so. If you bust, all the cards in that row get discarded and your turn ends. Nobody able to buy anything. The way you bust is if 2 ships of the same color, Brotes, are ever in the row at the same time that you cannot repel. So, for instance, I flip up my first card. It's a yellow Brote. Okay. The next card I flip up is a profession card. And so, again, I can be like, okay, I'm going to keep going. So I flip up another one. It's a red Brote. Now I have a yellow Brote, a red Brote, and then 1 profession. And the boats, all they do is give you money, which is good because you use the money to buy the professions. And the professions have an ability on them. Like one might give you... what are those things called? The swords, the scimitar. What are they called, Natalie? The
swords.
The swords. Dang it, they're called something. I can't think of what they're called. But and then when you have those swords, when Brotes come out, they have a certain number of swords on them, and you can take a boat and repel it and get it out of that row, so it won't potentially hurt you in the press your luck phase if you have some of those swords. So that's the stuff that's on the profession cards, right? So then I flip up again, and now I get another yellow boat. If I can't right then, when that yellow boat comes out, repel it, that's my second yellow one. I bust, all the cards in that line are gone. Well, let's say, instead of revealing the yellow Brote, I just decided to stop. So in that row, there is a yellow boat, a red boat, and a profession card. I stopped, okay? Now, I get to buy or select cards from those 3 cards, and then every other player gets to buy 1. The number of cards that I can buy, being my turn, is dependent on the number of boats in the row. So if I have 0 to 3 different colored boats, I can buy 1 card. If there's 4 different colored boats, I can buy 2 cards. If there's 5 different colored boats, I can buy 3 cards. In my example, there's only 2, right? There's a yellow and a red, so I can only buy 1 card. So I take a card. If I take a boat card, I just get money, which is cool. Money is, again, this game is only cards, so money is just the back of the cards. Kind of like Bonanza.
Right.
Right.
You flip it over.
You flip it over, and that's your money. So the back of the cards are money. So if I take the yellow boat, it gives me 3 coins. Maybe I'll take 3 cards. Boom, I have money. Now Natalie gets to go, and she can choose to buy one of the other 2 cards there, the profession card or the other boat. If she decides to buy one of those, she has to pay me a tax of 1 because it's my turn. So let's say she takes the red boat. The red boat has 2 coins on it. She's allowed to use the income she would get from that red boat to pay me. So she had no money, and she takes the red boat. Really, I get a coin, she gets a coin. Okay? And then then it goes to Natalie's turn, and she just does the press your luck thing over and over again. And we just keep going back and forth like that until one of us has achieved 12 influence points, which ends the game. You finish the round, and then whoever has the most influence after that is the winner. Okay? So things I liked about this game. This was really, really, really quick, and I appreciated that. I've played another Fist or Barely newer game where it's kind of press your lucky. It's called Oh My Goods.
Oh My Goofs.
That's got some press your luck elements in it as well. This game was more pure. This was like a pure push your luck game.
Okay.
Like an Ink and Gold or something.
Yeah.
It was like strictly just flip a card.
Flip a card. Do I keep flipping cards?
Do I keep flipping cards or do I stop
Yeah.
flipping cards? Exactly. And that's just fun for me.
Yeah.
Press your luck games are just fun. It's fun to just be like, and I press my luck a ton in this game. Natalie typically doesn't like press your luck games. We'll get to her thoughts in a minute. But I really enjoy that mechanism, especially in a game that doesn't last that long. And I pressed my luck a ton, and it was really fun to keep going one more, because really what you're trying to do is you want to be able to buy multiple cards on your turn to get the most influence in a turn, on your opponent, because your opponent can only at most buy 1.
But to do that, you really got to press your luck.
But you got to press your luck, because there's only 5 different colors of boats.
No whammies.
No whammies. There's
And
5 different colors of boats. Each boat has 10 cards. There's 50 boat cards out of this deck of 120. 50 of them are boats. There's 5 different colors. To be able to play to buy more than 1 card, you have to have 4 of those 5 boats be different colors.
And not have repeats, because
Any repeats, you bust. Unless you can repel them. So
Yeah.
you're trying to buy these cards early that give you these swords to repel boats, so you can, when they come up in future turns, you can get rid of them to try to get these different color boats. So it's really fun inherently in that way to press your luck, to try to be like, okay, there's 3 boats out there. There's 2 cards. If I get this boat, will give me the money to buy this card. That'll get me 6 influence. And I'm halfway to winning. Like, fuck yeah. Or halfway to ending it. Like, that's great. Right. But to do that, I need a 4th color boat. So I got to press my luck.
Keep going.
And a lot of times you'll press your luck and it's like, another one comes out and you bust. But the busting is not that bad. Because all busting does, you just don't get to buy in the next phase.
Yeah.
But nobody does. It doesn't hurt you, and it hurts everybody at the table if you bust.
Basically,
nobody
no one gets
to buy
any of these cards.
Yeah,
put it back.
like why we just go on to the next one.
Yeah.
So I like that about it. Things I didn't like. Now this is just the base game we played. We haven't thrown any expansions in. I'm sure Dan listening to this is probably beating his head against the fucking wall. Like, oh my god, you didn't play with this expansion. This makes the game go from really good to like my favorite game ever. So we're gonna have to incorporate expansions and variants and stuff later. We just played the base game, base rules. It was not enough for us to want to come back to frequently. It took a little bit too long for what it was for us. It kind of ended abruptly, but until that point, we were like, man, how long is this going to take? It's the same thing. You're just flip, bust,
okay.
flip,
And
don't
then suddenly
bust,
I was like,
flip,
I have
bust.
12.
And then Natalie wins. It's like, oh, it's over. But yeah, there wasn't enough there.
The cards don't shuffle, do they? It's just you keep going through that deck.
Yeah, you go through the deck, and then once the deck runs out, you shuffle the discard.
Okay, shuffle.
Yeah, so you will.
All right, so there isn't even like a fail save of like the cards ran out, the game's over.
No.
There's not even that. You have to get to that point.
12
points.
influence points to end the game. And that did happen. So there's 120 cards in the deck. We went through it a couple times.
Okay.
You know, we shuffled,
a lot of
I
flipping.
think twice.
Oh, okay.
Right? Maybe it was just once. I don't remember. It was close to, we were flipping a lot. There was a couple
definitely
turns I
did it
had where
once,
I had like
just like,
15 cards out
Fuck
there.
it. Keep going.
Yeah,
yeah.
keep going, because a boat would come out and I'd be like, nope, repel, because I had enough swords that I could repel a decent number of boats.
Yeah.
And so it was fun, but I think there was not enough to it for me to want to come back to it frequently unless we expand, which we can.
expansions.
We got the big box.
yeah,
Yeah,
big
so
box.
we'll try it with
And
the
so
expansions.
what Dan has told me is the big box is the way to do it, because it gives you everything.
Do you play with all of it at once, or is it like you play with
No,
one
there's like
thing?
different expansions, there's modules, there's variants. You can just plug and play different stuff. So we can just add a little expand. We can even just add a variant on
Yeah.
to the base game that we didn't use. We just played the vanilla base game, and it's good. It was fun. Personally, for me, I think we're going to have to expand it, or I wouldn't want to come back to it. What did you think, Natalie?
Well, push your luck sometimes stresses me out. So I'm especially the ones where you're just like flip cards like that, like Ink and
This
Gold.
is like pure.
I'm always just like
luck.
I'm very conservative, about that stuff, and so I'm always nervous. I get really nervous, and I'm like, I don't want to risk it. Or Ryan's like, let's risk it every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
So he
Can't stop.
So it kind of
won't
is funny
stop.
how that worked out because like I don't even know if I ever flipped more than like 4 or 5 cards.
Right.
Where like Ryan might have had 15 cards several times.
Who won?
Natalie.
Okay.
I did, but
Well,
it kind of worked out for me because I would like
Is she benefactors from my
right because
tons
he's
of
got
cards.
like
Yeah.
all these cards out because like let's say he's pulling cards and there's only a few boats, but there's a million other
Professions,
cards,
yeah.
and some of them are repeats, and so no matter what he buys, I can buy whatever I want out of that huge pile, and I just have to pay him 1 coin to do it.
Yep.
And so how it kind of worked out was like I would buy
You get money on
stuff.
your turn.
I'd get money on my turn.
Spend it on my
I'd
turn.
just like, maybe a couple boats come out. I'm like, okay, I'll just stop, get some money. And then, Ryan would get a boat, give me some of his money from buying the boat. And then on his turn, with all of these options, I'd buy something and I'd have to pay extra, but he gave me an extra coin on my turn. It kind of just like worked out that way. And I don't know. I mean, I liked that it was only cards. I liked that it was quick.
Yeah.
I like that it wasn't very punishing. Like you said, when you bust, you're not like, I'm fucked. Or even like when you play Quacks.
Oh yeah, if you
not-
bust
Feel
late
it.
and
You
and
Yeah,
You're-
like that can
you're
really
done.
like
It destroys you.
affect your game where this doesn't
and
really.
your mood and your
Yeah.
self-worth.
It's kind of just like,
Exactly.
oh, and then you just move on.
and it literally can fuel your fire if you're mad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, there was nothing bad about this game. I did like it. But like you said, it was like I liked it, but I didn't love, it wasn't like, oh,
You liked it, but
yes,
you're not
oh,
in like with it.
Yeah. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It was a good game. And I kind of felt like it was unique. I've never really played a game like this, I guess.
It does kind of hang around on lists, right? Like people have talked about this game for a while. Not like super
No, but you're right. It's old and it's not gone.
right.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Right. And
Of course.
there's
Yeah.
even like enough
It's like
decisions
8
where
years
you're
old
like,
now, I think.
you're like, do I get money? Do I buy a card that helps me repel boats so that I could like get more options out there to get the cards I want? Or do you pick cards that
This is a different
will
one.
fulfill the expeditions, which gives you tons of points, which is how I ended up winning
Yeah, most
by
points.
getting like a big expedition
Usually that
card and then
Yeah,
it's
2014.
over, Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Cool.
But
It's a good
I'm
game.
curious
I
to
think
see
you're gonna
how
like
the expansions
Maybe I'll
make
just
it different.
throw the expansions in right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
one
you
of-
should.
Maybe
Yeah.
Dan will like he does.
Yeah, reach out, Dan,
Let us
let
know what expansion
What we
you
should
would throw
play
in
with.
right away. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because the base game was fun. It was, and I think you would like it. But I don't think I'd want to play it again with just the vanilla base game. I thought it was not enough. For
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
We were kind
so
of like,
that's
yeah,
Port
that was
Royal.
good.
Yeah, by Fist or Barely Newer. What do you got, Jeff?
I got another game from the OP, the OP. Natalie, don't do it.
Or
Okay.
no.
So this is from the OP. This is a game called Mountains Out of Molehills. Okay, which
Don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
which took me a while to be like mountains into molehills, molehills out of mountains,
How do
mountains
I say
into
this?
something,
Yeah.
mountains out of molehills.
What are you saying about?
That's a Scarletism.
So this is designed by Patrick Marino, who has his name on a lot of OP games.
Does he really?
Court of the Dead, Cuphead, all the Rising games he's on, like Harry Potter Rising,
yeah.
Batman Rising, like those games he's on. So I wonder if he just
Thanos
just
Rising.
works for the OP, maybe he just works for
Yeah, he could be like how Eric
USopoly.
Lang was for
Exclusive
Simon.
designer.
Yeah,
for
like
the-
he's the
might be
designer.
them.
Or Corey
And then
Kanitska.
There's another game on there, another name, Jim DeCamilio.
Jim DeCamilio.
This is his
Charlie
only name.
D'Amelio.
He's on like a sparkling kitty game or something too, but this is his only.
Really?
This is his name on
Only
there.
Sounds
like
kinda
game
dirty.
game.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, maybe it's one of those games.
Yeah.
It's a dirty game.
Well, the original.
So yeah, of course. I didn't know a ton about this game, other than it looks so cool on the table.
Does
Really?
it?
Okay, this is a like 2-tiered game,
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures of this.
So,
Right,
yes.
it's got like almost like a block and key kind of.
almost exactly like Block.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right.
like the stands go in the bottom part of the box,
Yeah.
and then it creates this tier on top. So you have a bottom tier and you have a top tier.
Or that other game, Hollis from
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Holly.
from Floodgate.
Yeah, I think it's just Holly because it's
Holly.
Holly. It's like the
It's like
festival of colors,
HOLLI or something.
I thought it was HOLIS,
HOLI?
whatever.
I don't know.
What the fuck do I know?
And
Who knows?
so I knew that this game looked really cool, and it was weird that these games are coming out. I don't want to say sequentially, but they're like, oh, all these games with 2-tiered. Someone figure out how to do it. And
Right, it
now,
all happens in like
they
a
keep
year
doing
or two.
it. So this is a programming game. Did you know
Oh,
that?
No.
Did you have any idea?
I know nothing
So
about
this
it.
is a
Me neither.
programming grid movement game. It's like a puzzly type of thing, right? Usually those programming games are puzzles. You are a mole, obviously. You're a mole,
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
and you're
Mole, mole,
underground.
mole, 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 mole.
You're underground. You are on the bottom tier of the 2 tiers. So the top tier is the surface,
Like above ground.
above ground,
Okay.
above and below.
Looking above ground
makes
pool.
Like above and below.
You're right. It's Holly. It's not Hollis.
Yes. Okay.
HOLI?
I got
Yeah,
one.
H-O-L-I.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Indian Festival of Colors or something like that. I might be butchering that, but it's something like that. It's a holiday.
It says, celebrate
Help me
by
out.
throwing colored powder at your friends.
Yeah, good. There you go.
What?
Festival of Colors. You're right.
Yay.
Festival of Colors.
Yeah.
Go team. Now, anyway, let's talk about moles.
Okay.
So you're a mole.
Back to
so
the
all the movement in this game, all this grid movement is actually happening on the bottom tier, and on a it could be 5x5 grid. If you're playing with more people, it's 7x7 or 6x6, whatever. It gets bigger, and each round begins with a card draft. Okay, you draft cards. I go, you go, I go. But you know, you've drafted cards before.
Okay. Who goes after I go?
You each get. I go.
Okay.
And then you go.
And then
I go.
Oh, I thought it was I go, then you go.
I
You
go.
go, then
I go, you go,
You
I
go.
go, you go.
Hugo weaving.
Hugo. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, write that
She
down.
doesn't know who goes. She doesn't
Now,
know.
you know, Hugo goes.
Hugo.
So each person's going to end up with 4 cards. And then you take those 4 cards and you order them how you want to play them. So if you want it to go first, it's going to go on the top. And then the movement you want to do last will go on the bottom. And think about you flipping the top card over, and then you're going to do that in that order.
I think about that
Okay?
a lot.
Yeah, of course. The cards are all movement cards. Okay, that's like move 1 forward, move 2 forward, move 3 forward. There's like a move 1 and turn, or turn and move. Right, turn
Okay.
left, move, turn right, move. They're all that kind of stuff. Think of if you've ever played Mechs vs. Minions or you played Robo Rally. They're all similar to that.
Yeah.
Where this one has a couple other things. There's like a place a rock card that you can play that you could put a rock in front of somebody to bump them or to knock them kind of sideways. So that sort of messes up people's.
Does it tell you how to get moles out of your yard?
No.
Yeah, we have that problem.
They're
We had a
pesky little
groundhog.
things.
Did I tell you I had a groundhog? Mm-mm. It's not
In your
It's
yard?
not with us anymore.
Oh,
no.
shit, what happened?
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah.
Did you kill it?
My hands are clean.
Devin killed it?
Yeah, Devin went out and just strangled it. She chased it down.
With a shovel.
Brutal. Yeah, it was digging in the like flower bed right on the foundation of our house, and like rocks were coming up, and like so it was like tearing. This thing was huge.
Doing damage.
It was doing
I
damage
am seriously
to my house.
wondering how did it meet its end?
My neighbor shot it with an arrow.
Oh, an arrow!
Yeah.
Sweet!
Well, you can't come out with like a
Sweet.
gun and shoot it in the middle of the neighborhood.
But an arrow?
Yeah, he shot it with an arrow.
He went and bought a bow specifically
No.
for this. Oh.
So it was just like hanging out, and he's like,
Well, okay, so here you want to hear?
Yeah, I wanna hear the whole story. Pause.
So, now I need to tell you that I've had conversations with this groundhog, and I told it to not do damage to my
It
house.
knew.
and
It speaks English.
So
it knows.
it was in the back of my garage and had a little home. I didn't bother him. You're fine. You're behind the garage. It's not a big deal. Okay. And then that little fucker got like, when I'm talking about like right on the foundation of my house, I'm talking about right by my front window, foundation of my house, digging holes, cement coming up. This is bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I went.
You're about
and
to get arrowed.
I sat on the thing and I sat on my ledge and I talked to him. I said, "You got to get out of here.
We're gonna
Bad
arrow
things
you.
are going to happen. You need to leave. You can go live in the backyard. That
dangerous.
is your place. I won't even come mess with you.
Get
back
away
there.
from my house.
Just get away from my
And
house."
it's funny what
We
he
talked
hears
about
is,
it. Yeah.
and he's like,
Weird.
oh, he likes me.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm telling him, you got to go. So I bought these little like groundhog bombs, which are essentially just like they put
Deterrent?
like yeah, they're
repellent.
deterrent. They put garlic in the soil or stuff like that.
Makes it
Yeah.
gross.
Okay. I put like fresh garlic in there. I read a bunch of stuff online about what to do, and I tried a bunch of stuff. Okay. And then that wasn't working. Called my neighbor. I'm like, "Hey neighbor, Paul, I need you to come over here and we need to
I
take
was
care
like,
of this
Joe?
groundhog." Okay. So I knew that the groundhog was, I saw him go
Why'd you
into the
call
hole
Paul?
in my front because I knew he had weapons.
The means.
Yeah.
He had weapons.
He had the means.
So I saw him go into the hole one day, and I was like, okay, I know he's there. Let me put I tried to put something on top of the hole to like block him from leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paul comes over and he has his bow, and we
just shoot it
we
in
like
the
take
hole.
the top off, and he's like looking in there. He's like, "Jeff, I don't want to." He's like, maybe let's try to get it in the cage. He's like, I have a trap. Let me get a trap. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll get
Did
a trap.
he see it just sitting down there?
It was sitting down there. He's like, I could shoot it in the face, but I don't really want to. Okay.
Oh
So
my God.
we did. He didn't. Okay,
With his bow?
no, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many like animal-friendly people we're going to lose here on the podcast.
Probably
but-
at least 3.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's like half. And so we got a trap, and what we try to do is like fill the hole with water to get him to go
come
into
out.
the trap. And then what he was going to do, and he said he grew up in Canada. He was like, what we did in my neighborhood is we would spray paint it orange and drive it miles away and throw it in the forest, basically.
Yeah,
so
throw
that
it.
meant that if
Set it down
if
gently.
you saw an
Launch it from the
orange
window.
groundhog or orange raccoon in the neighborhood, that thing was already there and then needed to go, right? So you could give it a chance to go away. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we try to get it in the cage, and this thing, like Super Mario, jumps off the fucking window of my house and like darts away and is like gone, goes into the back, and we can't find it. So I'm like, fuck. So I knew he was in the back. I put the cage back there. I put some like, there's like broccoli, and I put like a potato in there. There's stuff for
some
me,
manga.
okay? Yeah, stuff like that. I put some reading material in there. I put it there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it right by. I tried to barricade the hole as much as possible to get him to leave and go into the cage so I could take him away. Woke up the next morning, there's a fucking possum in there. I'm like, you idiot. So this possum's just like looking at me like a
I'm not
turd
looking
burglar.
for
Let me
you.
out,
So I like let the thing out in the alley. I'm like, go away, possum. And
They're ugly, but they're nice.
then the next like couple days, I don't see
like
the
me.
thing. So I'm like, he's
Gone. You got the fuck out.
I
Yeah,
thought
maybe we
so.
scared him
Yeah,
off.
he's
And then I came home on
Divide.
a Friday, and I was like,
There he is.
I pulled in, and that fucker is standing like on my porch, like standing up, like he's paying the mortgage.
He's like peeing all
He's
over
like
the place.
like he's paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
Like, you son of a
Like he
bitch.
owns the
So I
place.
like pulled in, I honked my horn. He like went into the hole right by the house, like into the hole.
You'd
I'm
think that would
I'm
like
all right,
scare him
he's-
away. Like I'm not
he's
coming
gone.
back
No,
here.
they're stupid.
He's gone. So I called then Paul back. I barricaded the thing. Paul came in. We flooded the thing. The groundhog ran out, and he like shot him on the way back to the.
Oh, he shot. Wow.
man.
He didn't just
Yeah.
shoot him in the hole at least.
Yeah, it was like a game. He like had to like kind of run after him and shoot him. It was like he was like.
Was it a crossbow?
like a hunting.
It was a composite bow.
Okay, compound.
Yeah.
Just whoosh.
Yeah, and he just like
That's crazy.
I know.
First shot.
He hit him. Yeah. We
Well,
only
you
took-
gave him a lot
Well, he
of
hit him once. So
chances
here's
to
Here,
leave.
he hit him once. He's like trying to run back to the garage underneath his other home, his vacation house. He runs over there, and because he has the arrow in him, he can't get into the other hole. So then he kills him.
I'm actually
Did
really
Paul
sad
take
about
care
this
of
now.
him?
I know you told it. Yeah. Well, he's
I mean,
gone.
Like, did Paul like?
He's now compost. He went in the compost bag and he's now gone.
Oh, that's so
Just feel free to cut this out. You asked
Why
for
did I
story.
ask
No,
you?
you were like, I need to know this whole story.
So that's how
Why
you
did
do
I
it. It's-
ask?
I gave
You
the thing
did. I
many
know, I
opportunities
know.
to leave my
You
home.
did.
He knew that it was
alone.
dangerous
You did everything
there.
you could.
People were trying to trap him, and he was like, "I'm gonna come
All
back."
you had to do, I even told him, just get in the cage, man. I'll take you to Heinz Park. You can live a new life out there.
Everything would be great.
Okay? You can eat the berries down there with the D.
Or you can stay
just-
here and get arrowed.
Or you're in trouble. And that's what he
Berries
did.
with the
Okay?
D.
He chose the wrong path.
He would. He
Anyway,
did. He chose
what
the
am I
path
talking about?
of doom.
What have you guys been playing? So anyway, mountains out of molehills. Okay, where did I leave off? You pick cards, you get cards, they have movements on them. Okay?
Yeah,
and
so
then
you
one
can
by
get
one,
rocks.
each player will like, I'll take my turn, I flip my card over, and I do what's on my card. I move forward 2, I turn, whatever. And then Ryan would flip his card, and you would flip your card, and whoever else is playing would flip their card.
Sounds good.
We do that over and over and over again for 4 cards, and that's the end of the round. Every time you move onto a space, you essentially make a little molehill on the top layer of the board, on the top tier.
Okay.
So if I move one spot forward, I move one spot forward, and I take one of my little cubes, and I put it on the same spot above me on the ground. Okay?
Yeah.
If there are other pieces there, if Ryan already has a piece on there, I put mine underneath it because I made the bottom hole, right? So I would pick yours up, put
Yeah.
mine on bottom, put it there. If then Natalie goes on that spot at some point, she would then put hers on the bottom, so on. If you went back there, you would put yours on the bottom. And you keep doing that over and over again, and so you're kind of creating these towers, sort of, that are supposed to be these molehills.
Yeah.
As you move around the board, the rock like will block you and turn you in certain directions and stuff like that. So when the round ends, you look at who controls each molehill, and the controlling person is the cube that's on the bottom, the last person to have added a cube to the molehill. That person gets how many points is that tower's height.
Yeah.
So if the 3 of us have it and I'm on the bottom, I would get 3 points. Even if there's like 3 of my own, I would still get 3 points. I still control it. There's 3. And each round has a certain height that these towers can be, these hills can be. And if they surpass that height, it topples over. So then basically the hill is falling over in a certain direction, and then your cubes would then be scattered on the spots next to it, or it could fall off the board and then go back to you. So there's some cool strategy in where do I topple
that's
it.
Kind of cool.
That was probably the coolest part for me.
Tiki topple? It's just a light strategy game.
It's a light strategy game. You just topple those things over, and that was pretty cool. So you do 6 rounds of this, and that's it.
Wow.
And at the end, you score again. And what did I think of it? Good talk.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
Yeah.
These programming games are nothing that I get drawn to. Usually I see programming, I'm not like, yippee. Even playing Mechs vs. Minions, for how much I do like Mechs vs. Minions, probably because it's more co-op.
Yeah.
I don't love
that part of it wasn't your favorite.
Of programming and then being like, well,
it didn't
shit.
work.
And then getting screwed over and over and over again because it's punishing like Robo Rally. Robo Rally is punishing.
Oh yeah, you make a wrong move and the entire rest of your turn fucks you over.
Yeah, and now you're just like completely screwed. And Mechs vs. Minions, that can happen, but at least other people are trying to help you out, or you're working together.
Yeah.
So whenever I think programming, I think of Robo Rally and those feelings that come along with that. For this one, it was not punishing to do the wrong thing or to have your cards kind of be messed up. It wasn't terrible. Every new spot you go to is going to give you a molehill.
Okay.
It might not be the best one you wanted to be at, but it still gives you something as you go. Even if you hit a rock, what the rock does is it actually turns you in just one direction. So instead of you would move forward into the rock, you would just turn and then move forward. So you still might get something
like the people's elbow.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
The rock bottom, stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's a wrestling joke.
You turn into the rock. Natalie loves the
How
rock.
does the
It's
rock?
like her
How does the
favorite
rock
fucking
go
person.
to the bathroom? He Dwayne's as Johnson. Did you like
That's
that one?
great. I did like that one. Natalie did. I like that.
No,
a
you don't
lot.
like that one.
I did
Natalie
like
would.
it.
I
His
think
name is
Natalie
Dwayne Johnson.
Natalie
I
really. Natalie would love to
I
Dwayne.
like The Rock.
You would love to Dwayne his.
No,
Dwayne
I'm
is
not like
Johnson.
attracted to him. I think he's funny.
I think she wants to Dwayne.
I like his
Yeah.
personality.
Oh,
penis. I like his
his
penis.
Penisnality. Okay, penis and Natalie. Now the.
Did you get that? That was
you get
good
that?
because you're Natalie. Because
you're
his
Natalie,
penis
his
is. It
penis,
kind of
yeah.
rhymes with personality.
That's good, yeah.
That was fun. I like it.
So, with this again not being my type of game, I think this game was pretty fun. I think because it's a more family game, more accessible to a lot of other people, and not uber punishing. I kind of enjoyed moving around and just the kind of fun of taking your cube and putting it on something and making these tall towers
Yeah,
and
this seemed like
creating
it'd look cool.
a cool looking 2-tiered board.
Yeah.
To that point, the game looks cool on the table. If you're playing it, people are going to like peek
Be
at
like,
you and
"What's
be like,
this
oh,
all
what are you
about?"
playing
Yeah.
on that? And I think it's simple to set up, simple to teach. We played it very quickly. We were done in 30 minutes, which is cool. It'd be a little longer with more because you don't like lesson cards or anything like that.
Sure.
But again, the only hard part is trying to program your mole, but you only have 4 cards.
Right.
So it's not like there's 10 cards or that there's some system like in Mechs vs. Minions where you have to like lose something, or it's just you put 4 cards in order and then you flip them and you just move. The pieces are very cool. Your moles are all like these acrylic pieces, which again, I'm just like falling.
Acrylic
in love with
tiles
all these
are
cool-
awesome. Yeah.
all these cool things. So with 2 people, it was kind of different because we were just like jockeying back and forth for the points. Devin would move, and then she would get like, oh, now she just got 10 more points because she went this way, put hers on the bottom of 3 of them, and took all those towers. I'm over on the other side of the board. How do I get there next round? So it was almost like for the first few rounds, I would score 6 points, Devin would go back, and she would score 8, and then I would take some of her towers from her. She was not.
She didn't like it.
She didn't like the programming. She doesn't want to think like that in a game of like, look, where do I need
she's
to
like,
go?
I just wanna
What's
move
Jeff
how I
going
can
to
move.
do? She just kind of was like, I'll just put this in order and kind of see what happens.
She wants to like, play her own game and not like.
Yeah, that showed on the score sheet a little bit because I kind of knew where I wanted to go.
So you were destroying it,
Yeah. So I don't know how much I'm going to reach and play for this game, play this game, because Devin doesn't like it. I don't know how it's gonna if our game group's gonna love it. But I would say for like a light programming family-ish game, I liked it better than I thought I was because I don't like programming games.
Yeah.
And the puzzle was kind of fun. I'm really intrigued to see how it works with 4 people and to see sort of the tightness of the board and I'm going to take control of this. But then it's like now 3 people are going before then I have my turn. And you plan stuff and you don't know what other people are going to plan, which can be really frustrating. And that's the hard part about programming games. Like I programmed this to do exactly what I wanted to do and I did it right. But now all of a sudden Natalie puts a rock in front of me and now I'm in a completely different part of the board.
Yeah.
Which is the nature of the game. It's not a fault of the game, but if you don't like that, that can be really annoying in programming games.
Right. The only one that wants a rock in front of her is Natalie.
Right, of course. Dwayne Johnson.
Trust the Dwayne is Johnson.
Yeah. So yeah, I would
sounds
say
fun.
not my type of game, but I definitely enjoyed like the puzzly aspect of playing it. It looks really cool on the table. It could be a game I bring to Nerdfest and just have there for a 30-minute quick.
Something to play in between.
It's so simple. So
people.
that's Mountains Out of Molehills.
Very cool. Yeah. So some time ago, not that long, when Gen Con happened, Jeff was able to play a game with the man, the myth, the legend. What's his name? John D. Clare?
John D. Clare.
John D. Clare?
Yep.
I say he's a man, myth, a legend, and I barely know his name.
Yeah, you're like, what's his name again?
He's the designer of the hot new game called Ready, Set, Bet.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a horse racing game. And we like horse racing games. We like racing games in this group.
Yeah.
Where you're
like
betting
Long Shot.
on things. Like Long Dick.
Yep.
And Dick Shot the Dick game. Long Dick
Shot
the
Dick
dice
game.
game. What was it? Long Dick the
Same thing. Long
Dick-
Shot, the dice game.
But I mean,
Long
like, what
Shot,
did
the
we
Dick
call
game.
Long Shit, the Dick
it?
game.
Long Shit. Long Shit the Dick game. So those games we love, okay? And we like Camel Up. That's also a really fun racing and betting kind of game. And so when Ready, Set, Bet came out, it kind of had this real-time component to it that we haven't really seen in a racing game before. Usually it's like you roll, you move the things, and everyone takes a turn to bet. In this game, Ready, Set, Bet, there's one player, potentially, or an app you could use, that is racing the horses in real time. And everybody at the table is betting in real time as the horses are moving. So let's say I'm the guy rolling for the horses. I'm literally just picking up dice, rolling them, moving the horse that the dice say, and then just picking up the dice and rolling them again over and over, fast, calling out the numbers, letting people know what the horses are going. People can see these horses moving on the board like it's a real horse race, and they are throwing down their money on this betting board in real time before the other players to try to capitalize and get the most money by the end of the race. So this game takes place over 4 different races, and every race lasts until one horse wins. And it's, I don't know how many spaces it is away from the start, probably like 15 or 20 spaces away. And there are, how many horses are there? 9? I think there's 9 horses.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Or are there...
Well, some of them are like 1, 2.
3, 4, 5,
They have,
6,
like,
7,
two
8,
numbers.
9,
11, 12 is
10,
the-
11. So it's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how it works is the player who's rolling for the horses, I roll 2 dice. And then you add the number on those 2 dices together. So if I roll a 4 and a 3, horse number 7 will move. Okay? And because 7 is the best odds to roll on dice, horse number 7 doesn't get any kind of bonus when he moves. All the other horses will get some sort of bonus when they move multiple times in a row. So, for instance, the hardest numbers to roll on the dice are 2 1s and 2 6s, right? Mm-hmm. And so, because of that, if you happen to roll those back to back, you gain an insane bonus movement on those horses. They'll move like 3 additional spaces after that, which is crazy cool and really affects and impacts the betting. So while this is happening, I'm just rolling dice and moving these horses, and I'm calling out the numbers. Or the way I did it in the game we played was I created names for all 10 horses, different names for all 4 rounds.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a cool way to do it.
So it was really fun because I'd roll one and I'd be like, and little Sebastian takes the lead, over top of screw you, and then screw you comes up from behind, right? So it was like that kind of stuff over and over, trying to think of clever, funny names that would get everybody invested and really, into the game. And
Then
so
we're,
while
like,
that's
yelling,
happening,
like,
and I'm yelling
come on,
it out.
Poop knife, come on.
Yeah, right. Poop knife, please take the lead. Wednesday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
coming up from behind. And so while that's happening, all the players are like listening to me and watching that, and there's this giant board that has all these different betting things on it. So you can bet on a horse to place, to show, and to win.
Yep. Win, place, and show.
Place is 3rd place or better. Show is 2nd place or better. Show is 3rd place or better. Place is 2nd place or better. And win, obviously, is 1st place.
Yeah.
So you can bet on each of these, but there's only 1 space available to bet on for each. So let's say I think horse number 7 is going to win. And so I might put a betting chip down, like say it's my 3 betting chip on a spot that is like times 3. Okay. That's the only spot on the board that is. No one else can place on that exact spot.
Okay.
Okay, there's like 2 other spots that you can bet on that same horse, but only that space, that one exact space, can have 1 token. So once those spaces are filled up, they're gone. Nobody else can bet on them. So it's like you want to go there early because you want to be able to capitalize on what horse you think is going to win. However, you go too early, the horse you thought was going to win early
It dies.
doesn't win. Yeah, it's like horse number 7 usually is probably going to, the most of the time, horse number 7 is going to be somewhere up there.
Yeah.
So on the betting board, it's less money if you bet on horse number 7, right? Because he's got the best odds to win. But so you'll see horse number 7 race out to a quick lead, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go on the highest betting possible. And then, horse number 11, I roll 11 on the dice 3 times or 2 times in a row, and all of a sudden the horse number 11 shoots out.
Right.
And is now almost going to beat horse number 7. And so it's really, really chaotic. And I don't do much betting on horses in real life, so I don't really know how it goes. But I would imagine it's something similar to this, where you're kind of like stressed out, like, oh gosh, come on, little Sebastian.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, Lasty, come on, Lasty.
With horse racing, you have to make all the bets before the race starts.
True.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, this game you're betting
But
while
you're still
it's happening.
yelling
While it's
at the
happening.
horses you
Yeah,
bet
you still
on,
want
right?
them to win. That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah, you bet first. But in this game, you're betting during the race, which is really cool. There's these prop bets that you can play with that add different ways to win. Like, for instance, okay, if so the horses are also colored. There's like blue horses, yellow horses, red horses, or something like that. And so like one prop bet card might be like, okay, if the red horse beats all the blue horses, you'll get money. And so you can also evaluate not just which horse is going to win, place, or show, but also these prop bets. Or there's even cards at the very, very bottom of the board that come out that are even like wild things that could happen. Like, I can't think of an example
Like
right
if
now.
A
the
horse
second
doesn't
place-
move at all.
Yeah, right.
Or
Like
if the second place is at
second
least
place
3
one
or
is-
more away from first place.
Yes,
or
exactly. So
something.
those,
Yeah.
and again, those ones are more where you got to wait a little bit longer to see. But then you have to like beat the other players there because everyone's looking at this at the same time. And then as the game goes on, so the first race is just straight up on the betting board. Once you get to race 2, 3, and 4, you're going to be getting these cards in front of you that kind of give you little powers. And these are really, really cool that you can use. Like, for instance, I'll say, so we played this with Ben and Emily. Ben and Emily came over and last weekend, and we got this played with them. Emily had a card where every time the number 4 was rolled, she gets $1.
Oh, that's cool.
Every time.
Yeah.
However, but if number 4 doesn't get in the top 3, I think she loses it all.
No, I think if
that what it
number
was?
7 wins.
Or is that what it was?
get
It's something like that.
anything.
It was like
Yeah.
it's like she
Yeah.
would get it every time it was rolled, and there was a way she could lose it.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. So she would just get like all this money, which was like really sweet. And then there was one race where it was like, oh, but 7 won, so she had to lose it all.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And there's cards like that,
gives
or
you
there's cards that just give you
extra
additional betting chips.
betting chips, yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yep.
And one other thing I thought was cool is if you win, you gain the amount on the betting chip multiplied by the space.
Right.
If you lose, you only pay the negative amount on the board. Or if you have one of the additional betting chips, there might be a little negative amount on the chip too. But you're not losing your ass here. You're not losing the same amount that you would win.
Yeah, because they encourage you to bet, like to put your chips out. To
Yeah,
bet.
right.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you get the 3 on the 3, you'll win 9, but you don't lose 9 if you lose it. You only lose 2,
Right.
for instance. Okay, so it doesn't absolutely obliterate you, which keeps the fun going. Now, we
Yeah.
only played this with 4 players, and it was a ton of fun. I can only imagine. The game plays up to 9 people, I think.
Yeah.
It's like 2 to 9.
Yeah.
I can
yeah.
only imagine
How
it being
chaotic.
so much more fun
Yeah.
with 9. I think this is something we will definitely get played at Nerdfest.
100%. I'd be happy to run an event, or you running an event,
Yeah.
or the two of us.
Absolutely.
It'd be really fun.
And I
So we'll
also
put it up
think
on the event page at some point.
Good point. We should put this on the
Okay.
event page. I think that this is a game. If you're going to get into this game to make it really, really fun, I think you should come up with those fucking horse names.
Yeah, the names
It
are
was really fun.
It's a good idea.
To unveil every because I had 10 different
Yeah.
horse names, and it didn't take that long. You just make
Coming up to
one.
the starting line is Lasty.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was like, bringing up the rear is Lasty, and then you come on, Lasty. Yeah, I had stuff like that, or one that was like, your wife's boogers. Like just anything you
Yeah.
can fucking think of, and it just makes it memorable for the other players. Like, come on, wife's boogers. They're just like
Yeah.
wanting
He
those
would
horses
say like
to win.
inappropriate names, and then like sometimes a kid would walk down and they're like watching, and so he's like, I'm Milkman, and he'd like make up something that's like
Something else.
One of the horses I named was just a moan. So I'd be like, and we roll, and it's in first place, and got like really far, and so I was moaning like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
kid
like
comes down, and you're like
the
the
number
kid comes down
8.
like number 9 goes
Number
again,
9 is
and it was
good.
just added to the fun, I think, and the
Yeah.
mystique of
What
this,
does
of
the
this game.
app do?
The app takes the place of the me player and rolls the dice so that I could just bet with you guys.
But like, okay, so it rolls. You just like push play, and it just says.
I mean, I don't know exactly
so
what
it has-
happens,
it's-
but
I don't know how many like pre-programmed scenarios are there, but it's John D. Clare's voice and him rolling the dice and recording himself on the app doing it. So
okay.
he then talks through what's doing it. So it's not just It's not like you have the app and just dice pop up on there.
Yeah.
It's him talking, and
So
they'll add
do you
more
have
things.
to like see it? Like, does it have like the board with the horses? Because I'm assuming nobody's moving the horses up.
I think that someone needs to move the. I think someone needs to move the thing, but you wouldn't have to.
Yeah, like it might call out 3, and then you move 3.
Okay, I see.
I think it's more fun personally to be that player because there's also rules in there that I can still be the one rolling and I can still play.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't play with those in our recent play, but you can do that where, what is it, Jeff? I put my stuff out first.
Yeah, you're like the house bet, and you're kind of like blindly guessing, but you win a lot more than if you were a player, and then that position would rotate. So Ryan would then not be the caller the next time, and somebody else would.
So there are rules in place that the person playing is not just rolling the dice and calling the things. However, I liked
you can be.
You can be, and that's what I liked doing. So things I liked were that this game was raucous. It was like swingy. It was like really funny, and we were just like all invested and like hyped.
Yeah.
The whole time, and this game elicited that. These kind of racing games do that. Like Long Shot just hypes you all up, and it feels like there's 30 people at the table when there's only 5. And this game felt that way too. There's only 4 of us at the table in this particular play. It felt like there was like a crowd of people. Like we were all like invested. Everyone's standing up and like, come on, like yelling for their horse to win.
Because after a certain point, you can't place any more bets. So then you're just like hoping
just
what you
watching.
did worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I thought was great. I thought the betting was really intuitive and simple to see. The prop bets were really interesting because you get new ones every round. Those cards that you get are really cool. They add, like, oh, what can I do this time? Because you always get 2 cards and you pick one. And they add really, really interesting and powerful things that you can do, that you can use. And those like wild bets at the bottom are really cool. I really enjoyed that. Things I didn't like so much. I thought it was kind of dull. The betting board was just kind of.
It looks like
it's like a spreadsheet.
It looks like a roulette table.
Yeah,
like
it's
rolled out
not
like a roulette.
very
They're just
great looking, and there's nothing wrong with it because you don't care about that.
No.
But
Yeah.
if you care about that,
it's like function
not
over
that
over
cool.
anything else.
It's the only function. There's nothing good looking.
Kind of looks like an
at
old
all
school
about this
game.
game. Yeah, it is very, very blah looking. Also, I mean, this was just me because I was created the horse names and I was hyped up. It takes a little longer than you think to complete a race. You're rolling a lot and hyped up and rolling and hyped up and rolling, and then when the bets are all done, you just like got to keep rolling and rolling, and then it's like one at a time. So it can kind of feel a little like, okay, it's getting a little long now, like, and especially if like the number 7 horse is winning for a while, and then you don't roll 7 for a while, and then the ones in the back have to catch up, and it's like, okay, the races can take almost not. I won't say it doesn't overtake the fun, but almost.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this was like 5 spaces shorter.
But it's because it's you're like trying to make it like fun and realistic, and so you're just like rolling quickly and trying to like say all the names and like make it entertaining. But all I kept thinking was like, I was like, that sounds exhausting.
It is.
I was like, if I was him, I would be like,
it was exhausting.
God.
It was worth it. It was worth it to me. But I could see somebody playing this and
I
going
wouldn't
like,
really want to do that.
So just use the if that bothers you, use the app.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The app's
an
out.
alternative.
Yeah,
right?
or you just
can
roll and
use
say
it.
number 2's moving. Roll and say number.
But I mean, even that, it's like, okay, this is just getting.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I'm literally just picking up dice and rolling 100 times for one, and then I got to do it 3 more races.
Well, luckily the app's there.
Yeah, and the
if
app
that
will have
bothers
a
you, the app
program
can do
voice, and I think that it's going to also have just like random dice rolling for you.
Yeah.
The
so all I got to do is move. the
obviously you
horses.
can't play the voice one over and over again because someone you know that they like it's random to you the first time. The second time you play the same voice number.
Yeah, if he's
one
recording
it's
it,
the same.
it's
one.
the same thing.
Right, it's the same. So there's only a couple of those. I'm thinking that there's probably going to be more that gets put out or so. They'll have some, but yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. What do you think, Natalie?
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was really fun. I'm not normally a huge like betting
you hate that
fan, but I don't know. This one was just kind of like felt silly, and it was kind of fast enough, and I don't know. I didn't make me feel stupid, which is a lot of times like what betting games or auction games make me feel.
Well, luckily you didn't have to determine on your own how much to bet necessarily. You wouldn't have to be like, okay, I'm going to say 6 on number 7. Like, I don't know. The numbers are on the board.
Yeah.
Right.
And you just got to like pick a number to multiply
like the first round, we were all like betting a little early, and then you realize like, oh, things can change a lot. And so then the next few rounds were like nobody was hardly betting early on, you know, and then at the end we'd be like quickly like putting a bunch of stuff out, but then there's like this fine line of like, yeah, but if you wait too long, people might take stuff you want and then you miss out on it, you know, and so that kind of stuff was fun. And it was just generally fun, like, you know, rooting for the horses and trying to like win money. Like it was very thematic, and I agree. I think with more people, it'll be even more fun. I think it's also a game that like anybody could play. Like, you know, if you took it to your Thanksgiving family, like, you know, grandma loves to gamble. She'll like probably be into that kind of stuff.
Grandma
you know?
lost her ass at the casino.
I mean, the rules are simple. It just seems just like a fun party type game or big group game.
What do you think, Jeff?
Agreed. So to Natalie's point, it's also with Ryan playing and rolling, or probably what I'll do or what we'll do at Nerdfest. It will probably be fast.
Yeah.
But to make it grandma accessible, you don't have to roll.
You can just go and then like everybody bet if they want. No, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna roll again.
You roll. I'm gonna roll 3 times and then I'm gonna stop or whatever. I also appreciate that each horse has sort of like the special power. Like, if it's rolled back to back, the 11 and 12 get to move 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right.
So
because there was a time 1-2 placed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what John G. Clare, the legend, what he said was, the odds of the 7 winning are still higher than the other ones.
True.
But the chart is essentially like closer together. The curve is closer, right?
Because of that bonus.
Yes, because of all the bonus.
And
all
I
the
would say
bonuses
that's true based on the rounds we played. It wasn't always 7 winning.
Right. 7 will win the majority of the time.
Yeah.
But not drastically in comparison to the other ones because of those bonuses. So I like that it's kind of the curve has sort of shrunk or grown.
We also had one round where 7 was not rolled for the first like 7 or 8 rolls, and so it was still at the starting line, and there was other horses way up, and so everyone was like, "Oh, sweet, I'm gonna like start betting," and then all of a sudden 7 made a Jeff charge, and like I think still won that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just played I even played with people I don't know. There were other just random people playing it, and we all had fun. We had that similar fun of like, oh, you went there, I was just about to go there, or like your hands bump while you're trying to go to the same spot.
Yeah.
And
you have to fight.
That was cool, and it brought people together. That's why I think it'll be a really great Nerdfest game for people to sign up for.
Yeah.
Is because it will sort of break the ice with a lot of
I think so too.
With a lot of gamers, because you know, Ryan can make up names for things, or we can just kind of enjoy that moment. You don't have a turn where everyone's looking at you.
Right.
And that I think is a mark of a really great party, bring people together type of game.
Very true.
So
so that's Ready Set Bet.
Ready Set Bet
by AEG.
Yep.
Awesome. The Gamecasters are hosting a convention. Yes, Nerdfest is now open to the public and admission is completely free. Simply head over to eventcreate.com/Nerdfest. There you will find all the information you need to get registered and hopefully pumped up for the con. So we would love to have you on January 13th, 14th, and 15th to play games and laugh along with us all weekend long. Once again, the website is eventcreate.com/Nerdfest. If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/The Gamecasters to help out. The Gamecasters Twitch account has relaunched, and we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night, streaming board game and video game content and having a blast talking to all of you. If you just simply can't get enough Gamecasters in your day, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/Gamecasters and give us a follow and maybe a sub. I have the best time streaming for everyone, and it's just a super fun place to unwind after a long day and watch someone who is trash at games play games. Come hang out and engage with me in a way you never thought you had to before, but I'm sorry, you do. Twitch.tv/Gamecasters. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all 3 of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. It's now the time of the show where Jeff asks something, you answer something, we laugh, ha 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 ha, in today's Instagram inbox.
And now it's time for the Instagram inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
Welcome to the Instagram inbox, aka the most fast-forwarded segment of the Gamecasters podcast. Here we are.
Second most, come
Welcome.
on.
Second most. Just the game part.
Just anytime I'm
the
talking.
game discussion.
Yeah.
Ryan's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I wish that was a stat that I could look at. What are people skipping? Who's spending
Yeah.
the most time listening to what parts? It's probably just the beginning because people just stop listening after the first
that would be
5 minutes.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway, Instagram inbox, I went on, and I think a while ago we might have done this, but Ryan came up with a slightly better way of saying it, and I always like hearing people's anger and what they would do when they get really angry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's fun.
It kind of makes me feel better about my anger.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I'm not as crazy as I think I am.
Yeah, we're in this
We're
together.
all fucking psycho.
Like
Yeah.
that one day when I kicked those toys across the room because of
Oh
the
my
TV,
God,
and
that
Ryan
was
was
so
like, "I'm
funny.
so glad that you just did that because that's what I wanted to do."
I wanted to
and
do
now
it
I don't
so,
feel
so
like
we were just
so,
trying to get
like,
behind the
so-
TV to
Yeah.
get to
I think we told
replug
it,
in
maybe.
the
Yeah, you did. You
Chrome.
just, like,
oh yeah,
threw all this-
she like spot boom bam.
Hey.
all this shit was in the way, and I started throwing it out of the way, and he was like, "Yes, I'm so glad you did that. I was about to do that."
It was great.
Sons of bitches.
Sons of bitchy.
So what I did is I went on Instagram and our Discord and our Facebook page, which you should join all of them.
Join 'em.
I guess you don't know how you join the Instagram page, but follow us. And
Yeah.
I asked the question, all right, you played a game, you fucking hated it.
Hated it.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
How are you going to dispose of this piece of shit?
You can't keep it. You fucking hate it.
Game.
Get rid
Piece
of
of
it.
shit. Are you going to go on BGG and write some shitty review that Natalie can then read on a later episode?
That could be part one.
Maybe.
That could be part one, but you can't just give it to somebody else. Got to get
can't.
rid of it.
So
Shoot it with an arrow
bunch
in the
of
face.
responses.
Oh
Yep,
my
shoot an
God.
arrow. Just hit it. It's like run after it and shoot them.
Shoot him.
You know? Anyway, here's what Gabi from the Snobs would do with a game that he fucking hated.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, first, build a time machine.
Okay.
Then, take the game,
Yeah.
eat it,
Oh.
Wow.
defecate it.
Oh.
Take the turd forward in time
Okay.
to when we will use all waste as fuel.
Okay.
Fuel up the nearest starship with the board game turd and plot a course to the nearest black hole where it gets gravity waved into nothingness for all eternity.
Okay. So this
Wow,
this
he really
this
thought
shit
that
is
through.
going to sustain
shit
this
is-
starship for
Yes.
that length of time. So
Yeah.
we have. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he said, or just sell it.
or just sell it.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Either one works.
Yeah. Or just sell it. That's fine.
Oh, good. That's
Over
good.
on the Discord, Shelly on the Discord, one of our former Gamer of the Weeks. Right?
What up, Shelly? Yeah.
What up, Shelly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would, and this is a good answer, I would save any cool components from the game. She would put them into a clear Christmas tree ornament to decorate her tree.
Oh,
that's
damn!
cool.
That's
And then
actually a
burn
good
the
idea.
rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought we'd
Burn
get
it
more
to the
stuff like poop fuel.
ground.
Oh, yeah,
But,
we get a lot more poop fuel. Shelly's too nice.
Yeah.
She said, but really, I just attempt to resell it.
Okay, so that's two for the real answer is to resell it for two.
Yeah,
okay.
people seem to do that. All right, here we go. Plurpy. Find where the designer lives, poop in a box, light it on fire on their
Pooping
doorstep.
in fire.
Booyah.
So they step on their own game. They got to step
Yeah.
on their own game
oh,
box
geez.
to put it out,
Which-
and they
and
get
there's
poop
poop
on
in
their
it.
shoe, which then Gabi comes, cleans up, puts it
Cleans
in a
up,
thing, and
yep.
then
Time machine
I like how he
shoots it
didn't.
into space.
I like how time travel wasn't a thing that could happen until he's like, "This game sucks. I'm going to now
I need to
invent
go
time
into the
travel."
future.
Time
Yes,
travel is not
yes.
invented until this game is terrible.
This game is so bad, I need to invent time
Invent
travel.
time travel.
Yep. All right, Nestor says he would never destroy a game,
Never.
but if he did, he would do it like in Office Space, that they just smash the shit out
Yeah,
of that
in slow
stuff.
motion.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
a baseball bat.
Yeah. Or he said he'd gift it to his worst enemy, which
You know
is the
what?
theme of
I
this
think
one.
we should do a video. Everything is a video now. I want to do videos. I want to do all these videos all of a sudden where we Office Space a board game.
Oh my
That
god.
would be
What's
so
What's a board game we hate?
funny. Yeah, what do we all hate? Tiny Towns?
Hughes and Q's?
Hughes and
Tiny
Q's?
Towns.
Tiny
Tiny
That we
Towns?
Towns
still
would get a better...
have.
We could
But we
Tiny
don't
Towns
own
it.
Tiny Town.
We'll buy it to blow it up.
Somebody send us Tiny Towns so we
Natalie's
can Office
typing.
Space it.
Yeah. All right. Inbox from CP Wilson. Leave it on the shelf to stare at and ponder, giving it another go. So this is what he actually would do. He put it on a shelf and just leave it there,
See, I'm
thinking about it.
I do that to all my games I like.
I know. That's what he does.
My poor games that are just.
And it's like convince himself that he likes it enough to keep it for some reason, which is what he realistically would do.
Yeah.
and it'll just sit and collect dust until I can muster the courage to let it go, which he's done
very
all
cruel.
the time.
It's a very
That is very cruel to do. You're
realistic
like, you're like leaving it in solitary. Although it's around all the other games that are getting played, and it's
you're
like,
never
when
gonna
is it
get
going to be
played,
my
sucker.
turn?
This is almost the exact same thing that John Klinsky said.
Okay.
He says, I'll leave it slowly to decay under increasingly thick layers of dust. I do this with games I like, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And games he hasn't played, he says.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We got Daniel Bundison. Let me tell you something about Daniel. Daniel is a recent, I've been recently talking to him more.
Okay.
So I want to say like recent friend,
Yeah.
but he's
Sure.
a friend.
Yeah.
He is over in Sweden.
Oh, he's one of the top 5.
He's he's the reason why
Yeah.
Sweden is our fifth most listened to. And his game group. Him and his game group.
He's the
listen to us.
reason.
So
Okay.
shout
Oh,
out
that's
to
right.
Daniel.
So those 4 people gave us
Yeah.
number 5.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
he's pissed
Daniel.
off that Belgium is number 3, so he's going to start heading to the
Yeah.
forums.
It's crazy.
And
If you're
really
in
boosting
Belgium,
our
reach out
Sweden.
to us. I
Well,
want to know who you are.
I think it's the people that saw my post. It's those people that have the
my
games in their house in Belgium on
Yeah.
GeoGuessr. Those are the
GeoGuessr.
people.
Hey, that's my
They
front
knew it.
door.
Yeah.
All right. So what Daniel will do with it.
Okay.
Strangle it with panties. Dismember it, and then put the parts in the freezer to throw the time of death when the year is found later. So throw it out.
Wow.
Dismember it. I love that, like slicing the corners of the box, like really,
Yeah.
like methodically and dancing around. And
He's
then-
like a board game serial killer.
yeah, board game serial killer.
Daryl Lake. Hated games are treated to the board game equivalent of organ harvesting in our group.
Yeah,
Hated
that's like kind of what
games,
Shelley said. We just
Yeah,
take
are in
the
a dark, dank room until the in the basement until something can be ripped from them to improve another game. Dice, minis, components.
This is a lot darker than I
Yeah.
expected.
The way the game is destroyed over and over again. This
like
one.
in a
It's destroyed
dungeon.
over and over
Yeah.
until there is nothing left to take.
Oh man,
That's it.
people can really work
terrible.
out their psychological issues without getting punished on board games.
Yeah.
They
Just
want
say
to.
it's about a board game.
Sean Reisling says you list it on your local board game marketplace for pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
And then show your wife the new cash you made that it can justify newer purchases at full price.
There you go.
He's like, somehow in my head it makes perfect sense.
I believe I get it. It makes perfect sense to me too.
Joel Karpowitz.
Okay.
Karpowitz.
Karpowitz?
Karpowitz. Let's
Okay.
go Karpowitz.
Sure.
Joe Karpowitz. Yeah. Who destroys a game when you can just gift it to your arch nemesis?
Yeah.
And watch them suffer as well.
love this
Yeah, people like giving games arch nemesis.
nemesis.
Watch though, if you hate it, your arch nemesis will probably love it.
That's true.
I know.
That's true.
That's why he's your arch
They're your arch
nemesis.
nemesis.
yeah,
for a
exactly.
reason.
You have like opposite.
Yeah.
Darren Neely again says, horrifically, I dissect it for parts you can use in other board game
Ooh,
prototypes.
It's
That's
funny
popular
because
one.
it's really not such a dark thing when you word it that way. It sounds so twisted.
like,
Right.
Dissect it. I'm
take
going to
these
dismember
by
this
Really, you're like,
game.
open the box. I'll use these
Yep.
dice for
Yeah.
this.
Oh, these cubes can go over here.
A couple of games Zach over on Facebook says, give it to toddlers to play with.
Ooh, that's maybe the
that-
craziest one yet.
That's like
Yeah.
a Toy Story
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. It's Toy Story 3.
So Daniel also sent me another one. Slap an Arnold Palmer label on it. Send it to Ryan's basement for the next work. Send it to Ryan's workstation.
Oh my god, this poor game.
That's great. Todd Coleman over on the Facebook page says, give it to a homeless guy,
Yep.
bringing a new soul into the hobby. For example,
Okay.
good evening, kind sir. Would you be interested in a copy of Star Wars Destiny?
You would never do such a fucking thing to Star Wars Destiny, Ta.
I don't know.
You never would. Although that
Seems
is a good
like-
way to get new people into the hobby.
Yeah, it is.
Although he would just eat it or try to freebase it.
He would just eat it.
The homeless man.
Or you trade it for something like drugs
Or butt
or
stuff. Butt
food.
stuff.
or a shower.
Or a shower. That's
All right, here we go. On Instagram. Now we're back over on the actual platform.
okay. Wait, these were all from
Those were all on
like
other
Facebook
things.
and Discord and
Oh,
Yeah.
others.
Yeah,
Not
the
not
others.
Instagram.
Okay.
Stuff.
okay.
Yep. This is Janelle's personal page. Jelly bears and citrus.
Very cool.
Okay. 3 options: burn, donate, gift in that order.
BDG.
Burn,
Yep.
donate,
BDG.
gift.
Fucking burn,
Those
donate, gift
BDG
it.
games.
BDG it.
What would you want it to be? It's like
Yeah, fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, yeah.
BDG.
Which one would you burn? Which one would you donate? And which one would you give?
Dog Powered Vehicle says, I forcefully give it to someone else.
Forcefully?
No refusals. I'll put it in their bag.
It could be like you're standing outside, like on the Vegas Strip, giving out those cards.
Yeah.
You're just giving out
Oh,
board games.
yeah.
yeah. You
Eric
throw
also
this
said
away.
he's just abandoned games at a bar one time.
Those games he
pretend
doesn't
to
like.
leave this
left them
here.
there.
You take these.
Yeah. So, Emotional Cyborg, Janelle from her Emotional Cyborg account, said, in an ideal world, I would create backstories for any guys and then slowly destroy them.
Backstories for them and then
Yeah,
destroy
like
them.
the components, right? You take
Okay,
components and
Yep.
you like create backstories and then you destroy them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a token situation.
The box will, of course, get ceremonial destructions, he said. Some ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, you buy like a
blowing it
Japanese sword and you
Yeah.
know, take it down to the...
Better Half Reviews just went with burn it.
You can't get like... Yeah, you can't get simpler than that. Just burn the fucking thing.
Jim Gamer, haven't hated a game. That's what he said.
Okay.
Ever?
But I've sent a few to friends, that's for sure. Or posted them and then send them to a stranger in some sort of like Secret Santa or something like that.
He hates the expansion for viticulture. Hates it.
Hates it.
He hates that expansion.
All right, Miss French Toast. She said, try to sell it for as much as possible. What the fuck is wrong with you people? That shit's expensive.
What if you got it for free? What if it was a gift?
It's true. Yeah. Nuclear Knight Peter says, I normally give it to the libraries if they're taking games, which is a good...
That's mean.
nice.
That's
I know.
mean.
These
Poor library.
That's not nice.
Poor
He said if it
library.
has great art, he might actually just keep it.
Really? Yeah. I don't think I would keep a game that I hate just because it looks nice.
We kind of almost kept Canvas. Because
you can hang it up.
we were like, that would be
You
nice
could
on the
hang it
wall.
But every time I looked at it, I was like, I hate this.
Stop. Again, this is how would you destroy a game you hate? She would go over to Ryan's house and dump a glass of wine on it. Oopsies.
She would do that even if she didn't hate it.
Oopsies.
Oh, man.
Shocking. Warrior Mama 2 Boys just says give it away. Which that's usually what I do.
It's cruel, but
End
yeah,
up
do
in
it.
some box, mystery box somewhere.
Sure.
American Trash Talk May over there says leave it on a spike impaled in the yard as a warning to other shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
The box top is on a pike in your front yard. Yes.
Get away, you shitty
As a
games.
warning.
Yep. Homemade Soda says
great.
campfire, toilet paper, piss on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give it back to the owner.
Who said the pike one?
designer.
That was Mayor
That was
Talk?
me, yeah.
That's my favorite one so
Yeah,
far.
that was great. Dino Pelt. Give it to friends. Help build their collection. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I know.
No,
People
fucking
are
put it on a
nice.
pike in your front lawn.
I know.
That's no fun.
Kelly also said trade it or give it away. You guys are too nice.
Yeah,
Blow
fuck,
this thing up.
that's not
right?
what we wanted.
Okay, Mr. Measles
Yes,
says he would
here we
like to
go.
chop it up with a poop knife so it'll flush easier, or just stomp waffle it down the shower
Oh,
drain.
there we go, baby. That's the way. I knew Weasel would bring it back.
An evil jerk gamer is maybe the only one I believe that would do this to a game. He says straight up burn it. I think that
You can see him doing
he's
that
done this.
for real.
I could see him going to the designer's house and burning it in front of him.
Yeah,
while he
Matthias
watches,
burns the
making
designer's
him
house
watch
down.
He puts it in like a paper bag with poop in it and then lets it
In
on
the future.
fire so that the owner or the designer has to stomp it
The
out.
designer has to stomp on their own game.
Yeah.
Freaking jerks. That's what
They have to choose between stomping on their own game or just letting a little, nice little
what
fire
would
on
you
their
guys
porch.
do what would you do to destroy a game?
Honestly, all I can think about is nothing's going to top for me putting it on a pike,
on a bike.
in the front yard
May wins, yeah.
to like as a
Like,
warning.
oh God! Like other
shit,
shitty
I better,
games, you're like,
I better be a good
walk
game.
fast, walk
Oh
fast.
fuck! I can't go in that house.
Don't go by the trash talk. Don't go by the American Trash Talk house.
I also
They'll get
like
us.
the person who said that they would put Arnold Palmer labels on it and then give it to me.
Yeah. I
can see doing that
Should I be
too.
peeing in
Yeah.
this? Like, this looks different than my
This
normal
looks-
bottle.
I gotta
but
go
it's
all
got-
of a sudden.
It's got Arnold Palmer on it.
Having this
The only
Pavlovian
thing
response.
I ever was actually tempted to do was like
Stomp up and down on it.
shove it, like throw it off the table and stomp on it.
What game was that you wanted to stomp on it?
I don't want to say.
What was it? Come on, say it.
People don't like it.
People don't like it?
It's-
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the-
Paladins of the West Kingdom.
Paladins game.
Yeah. She wanted to stomp up and down
That's
on it.
great. That could be the video. Do you still have Paladins?
Yeah.
You could jump
Yeah, we
on
sure
it.
do. You want to destroy Paladins?
Okay.
Become a patron,
What's
and
the
you
song?
will watch Natalie stomping the
Stomp
shit.
up and down.
Yeah.
Depending on how much money you give, we'll see how many
Except I
clothes
think our
she
patrons
wears.
like really love that game, so maybe that's not what we're gonna do.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's very true. That was a great inbox.
There we go.
Good
That
stuff.
was funny.
Yeah, good stuff. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's nook.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I have a topic. And
Ooh,
it is
cool.
area control versus area majority.
Oh, man, we
We're
talked
going to
about that
have a
before.
little discussion about this.
Uh-oh.
First of
are.
all, what is the difference between area
How
control
about you twain?
and area majority? Here's what I came up with. Tell me what you
Okay.
want to add to it, because I'm sure
Sure.
Then,
you
then
will.
that'll be the end
Okay.
of it, right? Because you control
The
it.
end.
Right.
That's all we need to know. Area control is when there can only be one controlling player in an area, therefore, like usually a battle occurs.
Okay.
And area majority is when there can be multiple players in the same area, but whoever has the majority gets some sort of like reward or benefit or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
or like wins that
Okay.
area, you know, for the game. Is that basically what you
More or
agree
less,
with?
I think. Yeah.
That's what I would. That's how I always.
Yeah,
attribute
in
those
area
two things.
control, you're like trying to control this area. Like, oh, Jeff's in the lead. I have to go in, and I would think there's typically some sort of conflict that happens.
Yeah.
I have to go in and I have to beat him off. And then after I do that, he'll be
Good game. I like
asleep
that
on the
game.
floor,
Yeah, I like
and then
it.
I can take his
Satisfied,
guys
but
out of the. I
you
can take his
win.
guys off the board. So I know I have to go in and I have to go in and I have to jack him off get. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to go in and I have to masturbate
Yep.
Jeff. No, I have to go
Right.
in and I
Yeah,
have
we're
to
gonna
put
use
my
the term
hand
nasally.
on his penis.
Yep.
No, I have to go in. I have to roll some sort of dice. Maybe my mouth goes on it. Maybe my hand. Whatever.
knows?
And his guys will then go into my mouth. Okay, sorry. So I basically have to go. I'm sorry. I have to go in. I have to touch it a little from the.
You knew he was gonna do it one more time.
I'm just kidding.
I
No.
know.
So yeah, Jeff will have some guys on a space. We'll say on the board. We'll say like that. And I have to go in.
Oh man.
I have to go inside and operate him.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm stuck in a loop.
gonna cut
I'm
him off.
loop, so I can't keep. You have to take over.
Okay, let me go back in time.
looping.
Okay, I think one of the reasons why Natalie is doing this Nook topic is because these games on Board Game Geek are listed together. Area
Yeah.
control and area majority, I think, are two very different mechanisms.
Very different.
And they're
You're right,
on
they are
Board Game
listed
Geek are
together.
listed together as area control. Sorry,
Slash.
I know exactly what they're called. They're called area majority slash influence.
Influence.
And area majority is one and influence would be the other. But I think they need to be separated into area control and area majority. And we talk about that all the time. I think that's why Natalie wanted to do this as a Nook.
Yeah.
Kind of
and
clarify
also,
what we
I
think.
wanted to talk about what do you like or dislike about this mechanism?
I love
or
this. I have
these
so many thoughts about this.
mechanisms.
This is great.
Because I know, I
Is
think
it
in
about
general,
touching me?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to not say that. So
Okay,
I think
yeah.
you're going to have to start.
yeah.
I'll start. Okay. So I agree that of your definitions. Okay. I don't. There's probably little tiny nuances here and there that
Right,
we could get
but
into.
in
But yes,
general,
I always
that's the
think of
major
area
difference.
control as someone needs to come inside of me and control it.
Exactly.
Or sorry, get into my space and jerk me
Yes!
out, and then sorry,
Yes, Natalie,
and then,
you're going to have to do this.
All right.
Okay. No, I'm good. I'm the one that keeps this in line. So,
Oh no, some beer spilled
looping.
and your mic's got cut off.
Oh no. Oh, I'm going into a tunnel.
Okay, guys, I guess I'm on my own
going
here.
into jail.
Oh, no. So I think that area control has to do with like direct conflict.
Yep.
Which could be dice rolling, it could be card playing, it could be some combination of those
Would
two.
you say generally
Some-
like Ameritrash games have?
yeah,
that?
some sort of fighting, I think. And
True.
whether that fighting happens in different ways, whatever. Because Rising Sun does it differently than Kemet does it differently than all these other types of games. But so the creativity and how you do area control is up to the game, and honestly will determine whether I like it or not. But yes, I think that's like one person going in there and fighting. Sure, there could be other people there, but in order to get in that spot or control it, there is a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And then I agree with you that area majority is being present there. Okay. And I don't think that the way you are present there is through direct conflict
Right,
or
because
fighting.
you have more of a presence
Yeah,
than
you have
other
the
people.
majority.
Yeah.
And I think
You have
that
two
most-
things, but I got three.
Yeah, most of the time, majority allows for multiple people or groups to be in that same
orgasms.
spot, and the control doesn't. Again, there's like fine lines between the two of them, and maybe that's why Board Game Geek didn't want to delineate the two, but I think they need it because one of the people like Dave, who I play games with all the time, really, really dislikes area control, but I don't think he dislikes area majority. But when he's looking at games to try to buy and get, he's
Yeah,
looking
if
at
he
it.
sees
he's
it
like,
has area
When it
majority,
has
no, I
the
don't want
same
it.
It has the same.
description,
So
yeah.
there's very different. So I would say in an area control game, which I probably like more than the two of you, which still isn't a lot.
Yeah.
I like it more. If you want to like play another person, play an area control game.
Yeah.
Like I'm going into this space to beat you off.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to beat me off.
Ryan's coming in my space
Right
to
in his
beat
space.
me off.
Right in his
okay,
space.
that's what he's doing.
I love
And
coming
that's
in Jeff's space.
That is direct. I'm coming after you. And there are game groups that love that.
Yeah,
that
they love the conflict.
And then there's also in area control games, there is a cool moment where, and this is something I like, where you are, I'm going to lose, but you might win.
Yeah, you might.
Like I get a dice.
I got
roll.
one die.
You have a dice roll.
I'm gonna roll a 6, you roll a bunch
might
of
roll
3s.
something bad, or I have this cool card that I'm just kind of waiting to play to sort of surprise someone. Those things I think create some memories versus area majority. That's like I have 3, you have 2, right? So I think area control can have a more reaction when you're playing it, whether it's good or bad and you hate it or love it. There's definitely more reaction and feeling in those games than Area Majority. I think Area Majority why I like that probably more, and the things I like about that is that falls to me in more of a Euro type. You know, I plan out my actions so I can have Majority there. And that's, again, can be through worker placement. Like Terracotta Army's got this cool thing with the wheel, and then I'm going to take this row. And it does allow you to, again, be sneaky without attacking someone.
Right.
Yes, it can suck where you go from having the Majority to not.
Right.
But you can then do that on the next one. You don't feel like, oh, I'm completely out of it.
Right.
So Area Majority to me feels it's less conflict, but also gives me still that puzzly, I surprised you, I did something, I accomplished something while playing.
Yeah.
With Control. What do you got?
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I don't love area control games because, and Jeff's completely right about that. The emotions you can get are much higher and more exciting, and there's better moments, which I think is kind of a I don't want to say symptom, I can't think of the right word. Attribute maybe of Ameritrash games in general, right? They tend to have better story moments, better swings of emotion. I can remember back when we talked with Gamey Lannister way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was his favorite thing about the Ameritrash genre versus Euro games was he loved being able to reminisce on the story moments and the giant, like, awesome swings of emotion that happened. Personally, I don't like the stress, the type of stress or the type of negative emotion that accompanies area control when it can feel, if you lose 2 or 3 battles in a row, you feel like you're just out of it. In some games you are. And that's a difficult feeling, especially if you lose it on a dice roll. Or, you know, just the randomness just doesn't go your way. It can be annoying. But I agree there should be a definite delineation because these two mechanisms could not be more different. The only thing that's similar about them is there is an area where two people are trying to win. That's the only thing that's similar. Everything else is pretty much different. Like in a game consider a game like Ethnos, where that game is complete area majority. But everyone's going to be in all these spaces. You're not going into a space and now I'm in that space. Jeff had that, and I'm going to go in there and now Jeff doesn't have anything. No, I just am playing cards in a certain way to get over there so I can hopefully not let Jeff walk away with all the points in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there are some kind of area control games that I don't mind, like Wonderland's War does area control really well, I think, because it does the bag building mechanism to it. And it doesn't feel so in your facey. It feels like, okay, I seeded my bag with a bunch of stuff, and now I'm going to pull it out and see if it all works right.
Yeah.
And that's really fun.
And it's not necessarily, in Wonderland's War, it's not always just like you versus me. It's you versus everyone else who happens to be in there.
Yeah, we're all kind of fighting together.
And then, and then it kind of resets.
But I love area majority games. I really do. Belfort is one of my favorite games of all time. That is all area majority. It's that feel of, and Jeff talked about it a minute ago, where you're like, okay, I'm behind in this area, and I really want to win in that area to get a big amount of points, and I have this plan that I devised to get me there. It doesn't do anything to the other players other than, well, now they don't have majority. But I'm not like ruining their plans. They could then come back on their next turn and take it back if they so choose or if they can.
It's usually not a huge detriment to
and that
majority.
I really like, because then I like the idea of like, okay, this is my plan. I'm gonna enact this plan and see if it works. And it's fun when it does. Where in area control, it's a lot of times it can be like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like you just fucking took it from me. I just spent like 3 turns getting there. And like, phew, and now you just came in one move and just like obliterated me, and now I have to start all over, and that sucks.
I think it's cool in area majority that you can also have it's not your plan going in. Like your plan in area majority is try to win.
Yeah.
But there's also, when you're playing, you want to be second place in a lot. Because a lot of times second place will get points. And if you're second place everywhere, you're probably getting the most points.
You probably win.
Right.
In terms of, so it's like also not only do I want to win there, but I need to keep presence there. And then if Natalie attacks Ryan and knocks Ryan down to last in that one, I'll still hold on a second.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't really care. Let somebody else do.
True.
And I enjoy that kind of back and forth in comparison to, let me go in there, destroy Ryan's troop, I push him back a little bit, then he comes back and fights me, or you come back and fight him. For some reason, I like the majority better than
or even if
control.
like they become majority, then you're still probably close enough where like you still have a chance to like get back in there.
And I mean, a lot of games that do area control do them all very, very differently.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, typically when I think about a mechanism that I love or don't love, area control tends to be lower on the list. I don't like look at area control and go, no, I'm not playing that. Like Dave doesn't like area control a ton.
Yeah.
Or like you and me might be when we see like a mechanism where it's just all about trains.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, no, I don't really want to route
building.
build and, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
or for me, pick up and deliver. I cannot stand pick up and deliver. That mechanism. Area control is not the same, but area majority, if I know the game's about area majority, I'm excited. If it's area control, I'm like it starts in the negative.
First starts in the
Starts in the plus, first starts in the negative. Exactly.
I don't like area control mostly because a lot of them are like Ameritrash type games. I do like Wonderland's War. That's honestly the only one I can think of with that kind of
That you enjoy.
mechanism that I actually like. But area control to me is also so I would say I don't like area control most of the time. I mean, yeah, but area majority I think
You
is
do
just
like most of them.
okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't really. Like if I saw like there's certain mechanisms where like you said like if I saw this game has that, I'd be like I don't care what it's
Sweet,
about. I'm
yeah.
interested already.
Right.
Yeah.
But like area majority, if I see that, I'm kind of like, like it might be okay, but I'm not immediately interested because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I don't disagree with you. I would say
Yeah.
maybe mine starts at like the 0 instead of the positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't jump out at me as like, yes, I can't wait to play,
Right.
but it's never a
Because
negative. But where
it still can be
control
like
might be.
frustrating. Like, you know, I guess for me, I mostly enjoy games where I'm like kind of
Mostly.
doing my
On
own
your
thing and
own.
people aren't fucking with me. And I still feel like area majority people could fuck with my
True.
Yeah.
my
True.
stuff that I was trying to do. And so that's just kind of
Yeah, they can take something away from you.
annoying to me. And so I
You're
don't
right.
really necessarily like either one, but I like one
I think
more
I
than
agree
the
with
other.
that too.
So I just wanted to throw out some games that have these that you maybe like or dislike.
I would say in terms of like area control, talking about maybe the mechanism we like less,
Yeah.
and the games that we like in that category.
Yeah.
Kemet is one that I really enjoy. I would also say that like Spirit Island is a area you have to like control the areas,
True.
which is weird. That's a
Cooperatively is
weird-
different,
but
though.
it's a cooperative.
Yeah.
game, so
Right, yeah.
Kemet's,
Okay, that's
Kemet's
a
one that I
different
like.
thing, yeah.
Spirit Island's one that I like. That again takes the area control mechanism of let me just move there and roll some dice. Those are the games I don't. The risks of the world or the risk
Yeah.
adjacent type of let me take a risk and expand on it. I don't really like. If you try to take that and change it up, so Kemet I really like because there's a whole bunch of powers and sort of some extra ways
Yeah.
to score points. Rising Sun I really like. There's that's the one with the bidding. Rising Sun's the bidding.
Yeah.
That again, you change the way that I can be sneaky instead of just a card play or a dice roll.
Yeah.
So those are the ones, and then what's the other one in that group that has the card drafting? That's
Blood Rage?
Blood Rage is also one
yes.
that I wouldn't be like I gotta play that. You know,
I like Blood
would,
Rage.
I would play
Yeah.
Blood Rage, Rising Sun, Kemet, Spirit Island, really without huffing and puffing about it.
Yeah.
So those are the four that maybe come to my head as I maybe look.
There's
at
also a
listing
lot
more.
of games that like have these mechanics that aren't like it's not the major part of the game. Like it's in it, but it's not all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that sometimes would make it not so bad if you didn't necessarily like that
Well, it's funny-
as much.
This game that I've talked about, I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's called Maria. Have I talked about that at all? That game kind of has area control, and it's not done in the same way as a game in a way that I dislike. In Maria, you just move through a place and then you control it. You know, so it's not, and you do have battles to like, you know, beat people off. Oh, here we go. Here we go again. No, you do have battles that do that, but for some reason, it doesn't feel the same as it does in a game like something like El Grande.
Yeah.
Which is
Wrote down El Grande.
a game that like kind of drives me crazy. People love the shit out of El Grande, but El Grande is like, oh my god, because you can attack people in El Grande. You know, I'm going to go after this region, and you know,
But that's also somewhere maybe between those two.
It's kind of
'Cause
in the
that has
middle.
an area
It's a
majority
halvesies.
scoring, but
Yeah.
there is some conflict in
It's
there.
a
So
halvesies.
BGG would maybe have a tough time separating some of those, but again, you could
Yeah.
put them in both categories.
Mm-hmm.
Twa is one that's more of an area majority that I really like
Twa's
because
so
you're
good.
owning you're having the cubes on
Yeah.
cards. It's hard because usually area control is like the main mechanism of an area control game, but area majority might be a tiny mechanism within.
Yeah, like
a Euro game.
Carcassonne, like it's not all about
Yeah.
area majority, but the
but
farms are.
everything's area majority in that game. The cities,
oh yeah,
the
yes,
cities are
cities,
too,
you're
and the
right,
roads
you're
are
right.
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so never mind, that happens a lot.
But Jeff, what's that game that Bill has with like the plastic components that we used to play a lot back. It's like an old game. It's complete area control. No, it's like it's like you're fighting with aliens. You have a bunch of aliens, and you're just trying to get to the center of the board. It's like 100% area control game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like a really old Ameritrashy game. I can't think of the name of it, of course, right now. But that's another one where anytime I see that, I'm like, ugh. Because the whole game is literally just you're fighting to control areas. Yeah. And that is, it's like I see it and I'm immediately exhausted. That's what it's like to me. It's like, oh my God, it's just going to be in your face, constant battle the whole game. And a lot of people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Hansa Teutonica is one of your area majority.
Hansa Teutonica is my jam.
Like your
Belfort is great. Ethnos is really good. Small World.
It listed that as one of them.
Trying to think of what the majority you're getting there.
Or is that's more of control, probably.
Yeah.
Small World is more of a control.
You're like going into like actually take over places.
Yeah. And Shogun. I don't really remember Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun is good. So Shogun is control, but it's done in a good way. It feels more, I don't know. That's a good in between. It's definitely control because like you have cubes in a region. I'm coming in with my cubes and we're going to drop them in the tower and see who wins. You know? But for some reason, that one I enjoy. Yeah, so I don't like completely hate all area majority.
Red Cathedral is one that is area majority where you're trying to get your flags in the towers. You have the most of them, you get the most points.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to say that like I absolutely hate one of them when
right, because it definitely depends on the games. It's even how I feel about Push Your Luck. Like, remember for a while I was like, I hate Push Your Luck, and then I started liking some Push Your Luck games, and I'm like, maybe I don't.
What's wrong?
So
with
it
me?
just depends on how they use that mechanic.
Alien Frontiers, that's another good one.
Okay,
area majority game where you're just trying to get those little colonies out on the planet.
Yeah,
in those different spots. It's hard to think of everything that I dislike, right away. But I would say
Nexus Ops is the name.
Nexus Ops, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah. Nexus Ops. That's the one that's just like, God, that is just, you're just constant attacking the entire game, controlling that middle area and trying to just...
There's a couple like Stefan Feld games that have some area majority that, like Forum Trajanum is good. Aquasphere's got some of those. But yeah, I don't ever mind it. Maybe either of them if they're not like the main thing you're doing.
That's like all you're trying to do.
Yeah. I agree.
I definitely think they're separate things.
They should be. I think that's the big takeaway here is they should be They should be separated out because they give you different feels.
Yes. So if you're, if you're looking at BGG and something says area majority / influence, maybe check it out because you might like it because
you might like one more than the other.
Maybe it is the area control that you want and grasp for, or maybe it's like I don't like this fighting stuff. Maybe it's more area majority. Look into it a little more. That's what I've started to do with that, and I've told Dave like I think you might like this game more than you think because of it's more a majority than control.
Yeah, for sure.
As a good Nook. I liked living in your Nook for a little while in that one. Yeah. Wasn't as much grass as I was told.
Yeah.
For today's game of the episode, I have a brand new game for you to enjoy or hate. Sometimes these don't work out all the way I hope they will, and they're not fun, and you hate them, and I'll never do them again. Let's see if this has that type of energy, or if it works out in the game. I'm calling Into the Vowels of Hell.
What?
In this game, I'm going to spell a board game title. Natalie, you're going to need some paper. I'm going to spell a board game title. Only all of the vowels are gone.
Okay.
So you're only going to have consonants.
I was guessing you were going to read the game, but only read the vowels.
Only read the vowels? That could be something we do too. I do that. What is that? What is it, Jeff?
Probably all.
Okay. So only the vowels are going to be omitted. So for instance, I might read the following.
Okay.
GLM HVN.
Like Gloomhaven.
Right.
Oh, in order? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to scramble. That would be fucking ridiculous. So you would know that to be Gloomhaven, right? So you'll ding in, and when I say that, you'll ding in, and you'll be like, oh, okay, that's what this is, okay? I have 10 of these that you little bell dingers need to ding in with. If you guys both get stuck on one, I'm going to start including vowels back in until one of you gets it.
Ooh,
okay.
Sound fun? Maybe not. Here we go anyway. Number one. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go. CSCD.
CSCD.
CSCD. Jeff.
Cascadia.
Correct.
Oh.
Did you get that one, Natalie?
No.
Well, you didn't.
With a big smile on her
You didn't do
face.
the typical like, oh my God, whatever. Jeff gets the easy one. I was gonna get that. Number two.
I never do that.
Never happened.
How close? The bell is actually pretty equidistant.
This episode she's never done it.
Never. If it happens, this will be the first.
Yeah.
Number 2.
By the way.
BLDRG. Jeff.
Blood Rage.
Blood
Just got it.
Rage. You just got it?
Yeah.
Look how happy she is this time. I like this attitude now. Yeah.
Well,
I
for
just
now.
got it. Oh, yeah. For now.
I just want to
better
be
get one here.
involved.
Number 3.
I just want to be part of the game.
Yeah. I just like
want to be
being
involved. That's like me with a threesome. Just throw me in there somewhere. Number 3. GRCL.
GRCL.
GRCL. Natalie's laughing. What is it?
I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't think I'm very good.
There's only a couple letters out. How do we not know it?
Right? Yeah, they can get a little tough.
GRCL.
GRCL.
Gurkle.
Steve Gurkle.
Yeah.
Stefan
Did
Gurkel.
I do that?
Stefan Gurkle.
Anybody got any cheese? All right, we'll hold that one. Let's
Okay.
go to number 4. Number 4. NCHRN.
NCHRN.
You got it. NCHRN.
Trin.
Trin. You at home, yell it out. And we'll see if we can hear you.
What the-
We hear you.
Churn. Here's the tricky part. Oh, dang.
Jeff.
I'm going to go back to the last one.
Okay.
Is Agricola.
Correct. Agricola.
Agricola.
Natalie, I
Ding.
just thought in my brain, I might start with a vowel, goddammit.
Yep.
Put that in your brain now, okay?
Okay.
Now we can start
Good call,
to
good
break
call.
this game down.
In my head was Gur. I was like, that starts with Gur.
Grilled cheese. Grr.
I even thought
This
grackle,
one-
but I think that's
Good
okay.
job, Jeff.
This
Good
one
job.
could be a
And,
the Nachurn could be a vowel-y starty one too. So why don't you figure it
Yeah,
out?
Nachurn. NCHRN.
You got it? Nachurn.
Jeff, you know it, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I think
But
he's
I'm
got
talking
it.
He's like just
I
being
think he's got it.
nice.
All right, number 5.
I don't know.
Let's go to number 5. MRCB.
MRCB.
Natalie.
Maracaibo?
Maracaibo. I'm sorry.
man.
Maracaibo.
I got one.
You got one. You're on the board. Maracaibo. All right, 3-1. 3-1.
Give me my point, Jeff.
My God, there we go.
Holy moly.
Old Natalie's coming back. Now that she's tasted a little bit of victory, she's coming back. Number 6. TTHCN. Jeff.
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
I was like, I can't even write it down because I think I knew.
And Natalie was right on top.
I know.
Oh, I like hit his finger.
You
got me.
You dinged
She
the
got
bell
me.
for Jeff.
Yeah.
So, we'll
Yeah,
give you half
push
a point.
his hand down.
Have a point. Have a point.
Number 7. DMNN. Natalie.
Dominion.
Yeah, girl. You got it. Well, like, if I go like MN, it could be.
Yeah.
You could think it's the same letter. Okay, correct. Dominion. Nice. You guys are taking.
I gave you
care
your
of
point.
this. So the only one you have missed so far is NCHRN.
Sure.
Okay. So we are on number 8.
Yep.
RKNV.
RKNV.
RKNV. Natalie.
RKNV.
Arc Nova.
Yes, girl. Correct.
I did your little thing with the vowel.
No,
That was your little thing.
Damn it.
I did Jeff's little thing the other day.
Yep.
Didn't feel so little. I'll
You
say
came right
that.
in my spot. Jerk me
Yeah,
up.
I did. Number 9. THSLCTS.
That's the school we went to. LCTS.
S. Yep. THSLCTS.
That looks like the sluts. Slockets.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed a letter. I'm so sorry. It's THC. Sorry. Yep. TH. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Are you
boy, oh,
serious?
I'm stupid. I'm stupid.
Start over.
Start
It's
over.
THS.
THS.
I'm sorry.
Stop saying I'm sorry.
THSLFCTS.
FCTS.
THSLFCTS.
Hey, boy.
Didn't make it easier. Okay, let's go to number 10. And then I'll start adding vowels in after you can't get those. All right,
Okay.
number 10, B, S, 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 N.
Shut up.
S.
You shut up. B, S, 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 N.
7. B.
Seven. Jeff.
Obsession.
Obsession.
I was like,
Very good.
assassin, no.
Natalie, if you can get the last two, you'll tie.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, here. Oh, bags. Number 5 was... No, you got that one. You need number 4. NCHRN.
Yep. The turn.
Are you ready to...
Yes.
For me to...
Yeah. Oh my God! Just hurry up.
Right.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
ANCHRN.
What? A
NCHRN.
ANCHRN.
That's the first vowel I've added in. Jeff.
Anachrony.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Anachrony. That seals it for Jeff. Okay, so let's go for number 9.
Okay.
THE.
Duh.
SLFCTS.
The
THEISL.
what?
THEISL.
Oh, this.
FCTS.
Oh, this. What's this game? Was it this game?
What's the name that starts with this?
No, but it's not this. THE.
THEIS. Natalie.
The Isle of Cat.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, you made a good show of it.
Isle of Cat.
You got it 6-4. 6-4. Good showing.
Yay!
You did it. So that was Into the Vowels of Hell.
That was good.
That was kind of fun, huh?
Vowels
I
of
liked
Hell.
it.
You guys were doing great at that, actually. For today's top 5 of the episode, we're going to talk all about games to play with your non-gamer friends that can also be a lot of fun for you. So like watching a kids show with the kids, that's like got something in it for the grown-ups too. Like Jeff, I think you watch Bluey a lot with your kids,
Oh, yeah,
and
Bluey.
isn't there stuff in it for the like it's like okay,
yeah,
it's actually
Bluey's the
not the
best.
worst show. I felt that way with Peppa Pig. I actually didn't mind watching that show because there was some like funny moments that only the adults would understand. That's kind of what this list is for. It's non-gateway games to play with nons.
It's fucking nons.
All right, these fucking nons. You want to play a game? You want to play a
Tailoring
game?
our top 5
You got a
to
non
you.
coming over, and you're like, I don't want to just play a gateway game. What game could you play with this non that they would still enjoy? That's not necessarily just a gateway game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We're gonna go Jeff, Natalie, me. So Jeff, whenever you're ready, start us
Okay,
off.
here's what I did. I'm making assumptions about this non coming over.
Yeah.
This non is a willing participant
Yeah,
in game night.
sure.
Yeah.
This is not your fucking douchebag friend that's like, games are dumb.
God, I hate douchebag
I'm not
friends.
trying to get them into the hobby or
Douchebag
get
friends
them
are the worst.
into games, but they're coming over and they're like, cool, let's have a game
Yeah,
night. I have a lot of
I wanna
friends who
learn
are
a
like,
game.
I want to
Yeah.
come over
Yeah,
and I
show
wanna
me
play
what
a
you
game
got.
with you.
And you're like, I don't just want to play base Azul with you.
Right.
You
Or
know?
even just like, or just a bunch of like So Clover or just
Yeah.
a bunch
Yeah,
of
party
Hive
games.
Mind, things like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So my number 5 is a game called Hadara,
Good choice.
which in my head with the last game, I thought that Hadara might be one you would just be like HDR.
HDR.
Oh, yeah.
So I was waiting. But Hadara
that was on my list.
is a very cool game. It because this is also, I think, a little heavier than Seven Wonders.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play Hadara more than I want to play Seven Wonders because I think Hadara is, I don't want to say killed it, but it's just better at
Mm-hmm.
this point. So again, it's got this cool thing where you're like, all right, you're going to take cards and then you're going to pick one, you're going to pass it. Like, how cool is that?
That
And
is
then again,
awesome.
people, these nons have never played something like that. You're building kind of a cool engine. There's a lot of gamer aspects in a game like Hadara that I think is,
But it's not Sushi Go.
available to people. Yes,
You know?
exactly.
It's
not
a
Sushi
step.
Go.
It's a step beyond.
And not even Seven Wonders. It's even heavier than Seven Wonders. So my number 5 is Hadara.
That's a great choice. Natalie, what about you? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is okay. So this is only like a 2-player game,
That's fine.
but
Ryan
The
is-
non's coming over to
yeah.
play a game with just you.
yeah. Okay.
Your
So
mistress.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't matter.
picked
Your mistress
I
is
picked
coming over.
Acrotiri
Good one.
because I don't think
Good
that game
choice.
is like too heavy, but it's also
True.
still like a pretty gamey game.
I wouldn't call that a gateway game. Yeah,
I
right.
wouldn't call it a gateway game.
Yeah,
right.
completely.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's still fun.
That's a great game. No, it's easy enough that they can handle it, and they're not going to feel like stupid.
Right. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, you're way more experienced
That
than
I
me,
think
so
is
I don't get it.
That I think is the hallmark of this list. Is they still need to be games that are like gamery enough that they're going to have some decision space in there.
Yep.
But you don't want them to be like, I don't understand what the fuck I'm doing, which
Yeah.
can happen in a Vital Lacerda game.
Yeah.
All right, so number 5 for me is kind of this might come out of left field for you guys a little bit, but this is a game that Jeff and I love so much. But again, I still wouldn't say this is a gateway game, but it is probably the best dexterity game of all time. It's called Crokinole. You invite a friend over, and they're like, I want to play a game. And you take this off the wall and put it down, and you can play with 4 people. You know, this couple comes over, you're playing with and now all of a sudden they're flicking discs across the
Yeah.
fucking board, and they're like, oh my God, this is gaming? This is the kind of, like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And you can also get really, really into Crokinole, and, you're doing trick shots, and it's just it's really, really, really fun, and it's easy for someone to get right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to have fun with immediately. So that's my number 5. Crokinole. Jeff, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a newer game that we have fallen in love with, Planet Unknown. It's a good one to just...
You steal my whole list.
God, that's a good game.
Is that your list too? You want to go first?
Damn.
Let Natalie go through it.
I made this.
It's just, it's a polyomino game. You don't have to play with the special boards. You don't have to play with the special rules. You can play like standard planet, standard tracks, and I think a non-gamer would have their mind blown a little bit in a good way in that game. Of like, look at all the cool stuff that a game can do, and give you also a little bit of a gaming floaner because you got to play a game.
That is an amazing pick. God, your list is great so far. Natalie, what's your number 4?
You mean
So
my
far,
list?
wait.
Yeah, sorry, your intended list of yours.
My number 4 is all right, I'm gonna go with mind management or even games like that because they're cooperative.
Yep.
I feel like it's just
Let her some white chapel.
you don't have to be a gamer to understand like deduction situations, or to keep track of that and trying to figure that out. That's just like a general common puzzle type.
Yeah.
And so I think, but I definitely wouldn't say like something like mind management is a gateway game.
Right.
And
No
it's
way.
something that
For
we
sure.
would want to play and be into playing. So that's what I picked.
That's a great pick. That is a fantastic pick. Number 4 for me is I'm going to call it the bag building kind of genre. This is Orlean, I'm thinking specifically, but even this could extend to Quacks of Quedlinburg or Wonderland's War. There's, I think, Hyperborea is another bag building game, right? And Altiplano maybe. Anyway, these games are certainly not, I wouldn't say like this is a gateway game. You don't have somebody come over to that never played games before. You're not going to just pull out Orlean. But if in Jeff's situation, Anon is coming over and they're like, I want to play a game. Let's see what games are about. You pull out Orlean, that's not difficult to understand what to do. And it's got this mechanism that is so fun. How fun is it to pull a fucking token out of a bag and it's like, I don't want it. And you put it down. It's easy enough to understand the rules, right?
Yeah.
But it's not so easy that it's going to be like So Clover where you play in 20 minutes and you're like, okay, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
They're going to find out that they're trying hard. They're like really, invested, I think. And I think that's a good, Gateway Plus is another term that we use sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4, the bag building mechanism. Jeff, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Furnace.
Yeah.
Furnace is also very quick. Probably the quickest out of the 3 that I've already said. It would play in less than an hour. You'd be able to teach it in less than an hour. And again, introduces some really cool gaming aspects in terms of like the auction and the bidding and then the engine building sort of thing. So you get another way to introduce mechanisms to a person.
That's a great pick because an auction is not something that, or an auction is something that nons easily can understand.
Yeah.
Right? Because auctions are not foreign.
Right.
Worker placement and area majority is a foreign concept to a non.
Card drafting.
Yeah, like that's kind of like, what am I? But an auction, everyone understands like, okay, I'm bidding. I have a certain amount of money. I'm going to bid on this thing I want. So that's another really good pick. Natalie, what's your number 3?
Okay. My number 3 is the Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Oh,
Good one.
between two castles.
Between
of Mad
two
King
castles
Ludwig.
of Mad King
okay.
Ludwig.
Either one of them. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
good,
I
good.
meant between
For sure.
two castles.
That's okay.
But again, like that's something that the rules are very simple. All you really need to know is like what each of the tiles do,
Yeah.
and plus you're kind of working with partners.
That I think is the best part about it there. You have a teammate sort of that you're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not alone. I have 2 other people that are going to work with me to make sure I know what I'm doing.
But I also wouldn't really consider that like a gateway game.
Definitely not.
And that's a game that, we're kind of obsessed with it right now. So
It's great.
it's not something that we would be like, oh yeah, this lame game, we're going to play with this non, we're going to be like, yes.
Right.
Like you could totally get this.
That's
easily.
a fan. You guys your lists are so great so far. Number 3 for me is Forgotten Waters. I think this is a really good game to play with a non because it's got storytelling. It's got the Mad Libs portion, which is really funny. The game reads the text to you. It's really hilarious. And really all you have to know, rules-wise, is where do I, like, it's my turn. Which place am I going to go? What am I going to do? And then you kind of just like, the book kind of tells you what to do. So it's really, it's a really interesting kind of fun, again, like where an auction is something not foreign. I think a storytelling game kind of is a good lead in to other games. Like a lot of people I feel like might, identify with, kind of, it's almost like a little role playing.
Yeah, let's pause and laugh at this together.
Yeah, we're all joking and laughing and like that. So I think Forgotten Waters is a really good place to start for a non who's looking for something non-gateway. Good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. What is your number 2?
I'm gonna kind of sub something out for the game that we just played and say Flamecraft is a. When we played that, in the moment we were playing that, I was like, I think this is gonna make my list today because that's gonna bring people to the table. It's beautiful. You want to sit down and play it. The rules are simple. I taught it to you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was easy.
And it gives you the ability to like play the game. I'm fun. Like I'm playing this game. I'm a gamer. I'm having fun with this. And
yeah, I would play this with a group
also
of
like
people.
this is also resource gathering, contract things. If I'm trying to again introduce mechanisms to a person who wants to play games, who's new, wants to play some games. Like games, right? We always say games.
Right.
That's one. Here's a couple things. Did you like gathering resources and fulfilling these contracts and creating this little thing? Yeah. Well, now let's play this other game. I have now another game that can go, or it's like, oh, you hated that one. Here's 10 more things that we can do that's different. So that was my number 2, Flamecraft.
Very good. Natalie, what about you?
That was also on my list. Me and Jeff have like same.
You guys are on it.
Okay, so instead, I'm gonna say
Ooh, you're moaning.
the game.
Yep.
The game we played.
The game?
Is it Habitat?
Yeah.
That game
Habitats,
that we played recently.
Right? Habitats,
Oh yeah, that's the
A game like that.
What's the spin-off? Why is that?
Yeah, it's like Nova Luna.
Nova Luna and
Right.
the
Yeah.
The framework, yeah. Okay.
Right. That's a game that
That's a
I
good
don't
one.
feel is like overly complex, but not overly simple either. But
Agreed.
people could
Yeah.
easily understand it
Totally.
and get into it. Plus, it has the cutesy artwork to like reel them in
Back it
as
up.
well.
Yeah, it does look really cute.
Cutesy.
That's a good one. Number 2 for me, I'm going to echo, I don't care, I'm going to echo Natalie's number 4, I think it was, and I'm going to say Mind Management or any one versus all,
Yeah.
like a hidden movement kind of game, like Letters from Whitechapel, maybe not Fury of Dracula, but games in that ilk, which are very, very good for a non, because the rule set is simple. I'm hiding, you have to find me.
Yeah.
That's it. Or you're hiding, we have to find you. And the mechanisms are very simple. They're not difficult mechanisms. The difficulty of the game is not in the rules or like the what do I do? It's in how do I find you? And it's like you're playing the other player and you're playing yourself and trying to deduce how to find somebody. And I think that's a very easy concept for someone who's not playing games to understand, for one. And for two, if you're playing with more than 2 players and you're the one trying to find, you're on a team with other people. And so if you're a little bit timid and intimidated, you can kind of sit back and let other people start talking before you jump in. You don't feel like it's all on your shoulders,
Yeah,
but you also get a turn, so it's not like you don't get to do anything.
Yeah.
You get to run the game. You can be the GM essentially in those games. Or we played on Monday night. We played one of the Goonies games. I think it's like Goonies Never Say Die, where it's like someone's playing the cave.
Yeah,
Dave played the cave, and we all played that. That's a great game, and that doesn't bring in a lot of like gamer mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
Because my list is mostly like
that's true.
games that I really love and want to play, like
same.
Euro games that I really want to. But people want to play Ameritrash kind of games all the time.
Totally.
And those are good ones to have.
Yeah,
So
agreed. Awesome. So that's my number 2. Jeff, we are at number 1.
my number 1 is a game that I would never suggest a new player buying and reading and learning on their own, but is actually very simple to teach and play, and that game is Obsession.
Oh, good one.
I would have a blast playing that game because I love it. It's not that difficult to teach other than trying to read the rule books. And it brings in some cool things of like, I have these workers are different. They do different things. I have to put them on these spots. It's a goofy kind of a theme and backstory, which some people might really like. If you have someone who's obsessed with that Downtown Abbey thing or whatever
downtown,
it is.
exactly.
We'll go Downtown
or
Abbey lands or Bridget Town, whatever those things are called. Like, this might be like, cool, bring it in.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, so that's my number 1 is Obsession.
That's a good choice. Natalie, what's about you? What's your number 1?
My number 1 is one of my favorite games of all time, Istanbul.
That was
Also a very good choice.
I had that one. I was like, I don't think I want to say that one.
Yeah.
That's one that's just like you know, the biggest part of the learning curve is just learning each of the tiles, but they're all like simple. Like most of them are like, this is what this tile does. There's several more like that. You know what I mean? And then all they're doing is going to the different spaces and doing that action.
True.
It's just that simple.
But I still wouldn't call that a gateway game.
Me neither, because
Yeah.
it's still complex enough where you have to like plan things out to get your gems and all that. So it's still like a definite game, but it's not
And when the Kennerspiel,
just
for
like
fuck's
a
sake.
light game.
Well, and you play that game. What's also so awesome about that game, and why I think the three of us love it so much, is if you play that game with people who play games and have played that before, that game gets so fucking awesome when
It
everybody's on the
does.
same level.
Yeah.
Like, if you're coming over and you're playing me in Istanbul, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we're playing in our game group that's also played it
Yeah.
a dozen times
Yeah.
each, and we're all like,
Everyone's like, oh,
every
how's this
turn
going to
is
go?
so tense.
Right.
It's so
Especially
awesome.
at one point, everyone's like, I can win in one turn. I can win in 2 turns. And
Yeah.
you're like, how do I get it back
Yeah.
down to...
That game's great.
Absolutely agree. That's a very good one. Number 1 for me. I thought this was going to be on Jeff's. He's probably got it on his short list, I'm sure. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Natalie hates this game
Okay.
so
I
much.
thought I knew what you were going to say, and so I didn't say it on
No,
purpose.
number 1 for me is Lords of Vegas.
Yeah.
I think Lords of Vegas is so great for everybody. A non can come in who's never played a game and have fun, because I've played, like, let's talk about that game. So it is a luck fest for sure. So you're not going to come into this game and just like kind of like Jeff said, you're not going to just get obliterated right away. So that is kind of taken away from it. It's just inherently fun. It's got this just fun atmosphere, if you're especially with the right group, where you're just rolling dice and trying to take over casinos, and you're just like hoping against hope that this next casino card will come out and that you painted your casino in the right color that's going to pay you a ton of money. And when it does, it's great. When it's not, it's like, no. And then you're like, you're taking these dice and you're like, I'm going to change who's the boss in here by paying all this money, and then we're all going to roll off. And that game has
Some random person wins who wasn't even... Yeah,
who
you're
wasn't
like,
even
that's the one
I have
dicer.
never played
Yeah.
that game, and there hasn't been a moment that I haven't talked about after it's over. Never. I've never just gone through and been like, well, that was kind of fun. There's always been like, oh my God, remember when I had 4 dice, Jeff had 3, Natalie had 1, and Natalie rolled 6s, and Natalie rolled a 6, me and Jeff rolled 1s and 2s, and she took it over? Like, what the fuck? You know? And it's like, that stuff is so great, and so a non coming in, I think, would play that and be like, this is board games? Oh my God, this is so great. And so that is my number 1, Lords of Vegas. Do you guys have honorable mentions?
Choice. I sure do. Natalie, you want me to go, or you want to read the rest of my list? And or what?
The only other ones I had like some Alien Frontiers,
Good.
Witchstone, Guild of
Witchstone's
Merchant
great.
Explorers, kind of.
Yeah,
Ark
Guild of Merchant
Nova.
Explorers.
I almost put that on there. I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe that is more
I
gateway.
know.
for
I put
Guild
Ark
of
Nova
Merchant.
just because of the simplicity.
I almost put Ark
of
Nova
the
too.
rules. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
I
It
almost
would
That
be
would,
your
someone
number
have to be like,
one.
you'd have to be like, listen,
Yeah, you're in for
your
it. You're
ass is going to be
for
in
it.
that chair
You're
for a
in
while.
for
But
it.
you could do this.
Yeah.
But no, you're right.
You
It's
can do
not
this.
difficult. The teach is not like
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not confusing.
Explain the cards.
No,
Yeah, it's
right.
not a
the
confusing
game's
teach.
long. The teach
I had
is not. Yeah.
Lost Runes of Arnak.
Oh yeah, that's great.
5 Tribes is something I love.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
Lost Runes-
I would say if
Man,
you're
I
looking
forgot
to
about
get
that
somebody
game.
into like a legacy game, I think My City is a perfect legacy game to teach legacy games and also low stakes kind of legacy game
True.
because you're doing polyomino
True.
stuff. I have It's a Wonderful World, but I chose Hadara instead. 3 Sisters is a great bring in for the roll and write
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
I have The Magnificent. I have Emotep, which I used to love. when
Yeah,
I first
Emotep
started
was good.
gaming. So I tried to think of like, what did I love? Lords
Yeah.
of Waterdeep is another one.
Yeah.
Lions of Lydia is a newer-ish game that I played that
Right.
I've kind of been jumping out at me on the shelf. Custom Heroes, again, for trick
Custom
taking,
Heroes
that would be a
is
great
great.
one. I think that's it. That's what I kind of got.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I just wrote 5 and then stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can go on forever.
I
Yeah,
had
you could just
I
go on.
remember when I wrote Hadara, I'm like, no one's gonna have that one. He's like, number 5, Hadara, and I was like,
you were
what?
like,
Okay, and cross that one
damn
off. Yeah. At least it wasn't your number 1. You
Yeah.
had time to like
Yeah.
swap out
True.
some things.
I was like,
True.
for some reason, I was like, just going to say Lords of Vegas. What am I going to do? I only had 5. How am I going to pick something? I was
Even
like, oh,
Jeff was
shit.
saying is number 1. You were like,
Yep. I was like, oh God, he said
please
Obsession. I was
don't.
like, oh, that's really good too. So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to Patreon patreon.com/the Gamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So, for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody. Okay, I am recording. Let's get some levels. Natalie, give me some levels.
Level 1, level 2. Level
No, do the
3.
moan test.
Oh. That sounds more like I'm in pain.
Yeah, that was not. That was a
Your Natalie's
groan.
moan again.
That
Is
was
this
a
what happens
groan.
on evenings with you all?
Yeah, well, I'm
This is the
huge.
type. Yeah.
So it's like, ow, dang it, again. No, it's usually because I'm going in the wrong hole. Like, I accidentally went in the nostril.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're right
Well,
next to each other.
It happens.
Yeah. They're only a few feet away.
Things happen.
Hello.
You know?
Natalie, you're going to speak?
Nostrils are small.
No, this wasn't a real
Dang
thing.
it, honey.
It wasn't a real.
All right, let's see how this sounds.